Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 36. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and I'm joined by Dory. Happy New Year, Dory.
Hello, Happy New Year.
All
It
right,
was
go ahead.
it was quite a difficult it was quite a difficult vacation for me as I got sick for the third time this winter. So that was fun. I don't know where I got sick, whether I got sick from Kim or from work or from my trip to New York that I took to go see a wrestling show. But luckily that was about a week ago, so I'm pretty much back to normal besides my usual cough. But yeah, back to the grind of the whole podcast here, and talking about what are we talking about this week? We're talking about what we've been playing and what we're excited about and what's coming out this month. So lots of games. Not a lot of news because it's January and we don't really get news in January most of the time.
Yeah, not that we were gone very long. It was only a week off. We
For sure.
we done longer in a regular time. But yeah, next week's the grind. Back to work, which I'm ready for, guys. After a while, I'm ready. I need a schedule. I don't like being home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to go back to work actually, and but this also means more games, new games coming out. 2025 is going to be a very stacked year, as we talked about in the last episode. There's a lot of games. We're gonna be talking about a lot of games today. There's a lot of games we're not even gonna mention. So uh, I'll talk about them in the future, but yeah, just keep in mind we're gonna talk about as many games as possible. But obviously, we don't want a 6 hour show, and it would get boring if we talk about every single game ever coming in
Yep.
2025. So we're gonna hit on the most of the big ones, if not all, pretty much all the big ones. All right. So, but before we get into that, let's start with what we're playing. Now, and for the sake of time, I didn't want to do all the games we played during winter break because that would have been a 2 hour show on its own. So I just said just pick two games that we've been playing, and I'll start with mine first, and we'll do one at a time. So I'll start my first game, and then you go to your next game, Dory. That way it's not me talking for 20 minutes straight. All right.
Mhm.
So the first game I've been playing over winter break was Final Fantasy 16 on the PC, which I was excited to play because when I played it on the PS5 and I beat it on PS5, it had performance issues. That was one of the blemishes of the game, is that the motion blur was a problem at first, and they fixed that, but there was a problem, and the frame rate was all over the place. And it was a really great game. I really loved it. It was in my top 10 games. And but the performance hurt it, and I would say the performance is way better on PC with the right settings. I had to look up a video because at first the performance was not good. The frame rate was ridiculous. It would go from like 30 to 50 to 70 to 120 to 50 again. It was just stuttering like crazy. But once I adjusted the settings, following a video, now it's pretty much perfect. I'm getting 140 to 160 frames per second, and I'm playing on pretty much ultra settings. Some settings are a little lowered, for like the environment. 'Cause I think the problem with this game is the environment. There's so much going on around that affects the performance. So when you lower that, which you don't even see a lot anyway, the environment, it's not the best looking environment ever in a game. So it's not a big deal how the environment looks. Uh, but the big problem with this game still is as I said before, a couple years ago, was the side quests. I think the side quests are just not great, and I think the MMO style quests and the pacing is still a problem in this game. But with that said, I still think it's a fantastic game. One of the best boss battles of all time. They're so awesome and so cinematic. And playing on an ultra wide monitor, which required a mod for me to use because Square Enix did not make this game ultra wide, so I had to get a mod. But the mod was really fantastic, and it's really made a difference. This game is fantastic in ultra wide, and it just looks like an incredible game. And the action's really fun, and the gameplay is really fun. The gameplay is nothing. It's not. It's obviously it's very you know, action packed and Devil May Cry like, not totally like Devil May Cry, but it's definitely not
Very
complex.
inspired by it.
Yeah, you're really just like smacking things and doing cool moves. It's not the best combat system ever, but it's still a blast to play. And overall, I'm really having a great time. And obviously, the soundtrack is just amazing. It was the best soundtrack of the year at the time when it came out in 2022. I think it was 2022. Sounds no, it was
I
2020,
think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
or was it 20? I think it was 23 actually. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
losing.
know, but keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think it was late 2023.
It was June. It was
20,
mid
mid
2023.
mid 2023. Okay, so it was 2023, and yeah, it was the best soundtrack of that year. It feels weird that it's 2025 now, right? Because it felt like it came out last year, but it actually came
Yeah.
out like a year and a half ago. Yeah. So overall, I'm having a great time with it. It's probably my first game beat of 2025 because I will surpass Dory this year. Is my goal to. I think I'm gonna beat a lot of games this year because last year I was like I couldn't decide what platform I was gonna play on, and I was playing World of Warcraft and that got in the way, and then I got really busy with school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this year I feel like I have a good grasp of my schedule more than ever, and I should be good now. So we'll see. Anyway, Final Fantasy 16, great game. But be mindful if you don't have the PC for it, and if you don't mess around with the settings and stuff, it's gonna be disappointing. So just be mindful that you're gonna have to play around with the settings to get the best result. So, all right, Dory, you've been playing Paper Mario over the
Yep.
winter break. Can you tell us about it, please?
Sure. So if nothing, if a video game take doesn't get us comments, if this doesn't get us comments for a bad video game take or a video game take, I don't know what will.
Or was it me? It
Um,
wasn't me. So
Yeah, yeah. So Seb can't be blamed here. So I used first off, I used GameFly for this actually. I know some people don't even know what GameFly is, but basically you can rent video games. I did a 30-day trial for free. I got it within I want to say 10 days. And I beat it within a week and then brought it back and gave it back to GameFly within a week. So pretty much the whole month was taken up by this one game. Given it had to be mailed to me, and then I had to mail it back. I canceled after that just because there wasn't much use in me doing GameFly. There was a couple of games I was considering, like Super Mario Wonder and Unicorn Overlord, but I just wasn't strong enough on either of those games, and Kim didn't want to play Super Mario Wonder anymore, so I just lost interest in playing it by myself. Just really feels like a game you should play with somebody. But I did it mostly because I wanted to see if I would like Paper Mario. So just for the record, I really enjoyed Paper Mario RPG, the remake. I thought it was pretty good, maybe great. I can't remember exactly what score I gave it, but it was somewhere around the pretty good to great thing score. It didn't blow me away, but I had a good time with it, and I really enjoyed myself. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is a 20-year-old game that was not remade and was remastered so that it had probably better acoustics in terms of music and better some accessibility options, like you can switch characters whenever you want instead of you have to go all the way back to a save block just to do that, which I can't even imagine. um, this was one of the most baffling experiences of my life in terms of a video game. I loved most of the game, actually. Like in terms of like what makes up a game, I thought it looked very nice. So I love the graphics. The music was, of course, it's Paper Mario, it's Nintendo, it's great, right? So I love the music. The writing's excellent. It's the best part of the game, right? I chuckled every now and then. I thought there were some funny tropes that they played with from past media and stuff like that, especially like Mafia and stuff like that. Um, Even the gameplay, I really like the gameplay. It's a little basic at times, but I had fun with it. There's enough different moves and timing and stuff like that, hitting the buttons at the right time uh, to mix it up. That I really enjoyed it. I would say the boss fights at the end were for me really fun. I actually the most fun I had with the game was probably the final dungeon. Just all the battles felt really tense and really. I was really invested in leveling up and getting more skills and getting more health. I knew that I was going to be facing a couple of bosses in a row, so I stocked up on some health. upgrades, and that ended up being a very wise choice. Ended up first trying all of the last bosses, which was great. But I'm burying the lead. I didn't like the game overall, despite the fact that I liked all of those things, right? Now, how the fuck does that make any sense, right? I did not like the level design. I felt like this game was intentionally built to waste the player's time most of the time. I to give you an example, there is a although I had a great time in the final dungeon, there is a puzzle in the final dungeon where you've already done two of its kind before it. This is just like the most elaborate version, but you have to follow a bunch of tiles as they are moving. So you have to have pinpoint precise movement. And if you mess up even once, you get electrocuted and shocked all the way back to the beginning. I just like lost it while playing this puzzle. I jumped up because I was aggravated, and then like I actually like hit the wall with my head by accident. I wasn't like doing it on purpose, but it was like literally painful, like figuratively and literally painful. There are other moments in the game where, especially in the second stage, where you're kind of hanging out with these little guys. I forget what they're called. The species is called, but you're basically like underground, and you have to like constantly like go around, go back, go forward, do a puzzle, go back, go forward. It was, it really left a bad taste in my mouth, and it was hard to appreciate anything good about the game when the game is constantly like when the game is constantly like go back and do this again, go back and do this again, do it over and over and over. The next stage made up for it. It was a pro wrestling stage. It's like a murder mystery pro wrestling stage. I really like that, obviously. I love wrestling, I love murder mysteries. But it felt like such an over course correction to the previous stage, which was nothing but backtracking. This was very simplistic. Go back into your room, fight an opponent, go back into your room, fight an opponent. And they have you do this like 20 times, I think 21 times or something. It's crazy. And they do break it up a little bit with smart dialogue and a mystery that I thought was well written, but it was it was repetitive at the top at the by the end that I was kind of like fed up with the combat because that's all it was really. Um, and so that's what the game really felt for me. I mean, I think there's no better example of the game not respecting your time and often makes a joke out of it, which I think Nintendo was convinced was very funny at the time. But like the General Light mission towards the end with the bomb, who makes you literally now they did fix this a little bit in the remaster, but basically you have to go back to every single world that you've already been to. And in the original, this was a nightmare. You had to like go back through the underground over and over and over again. In the remaster, they make a room that has all of the pipes in it, and so it's not as bad. I'll certainly give Nintendo credit for that, but it is still very annoying. And of course, the punchline is he was actually at the beginning of the first stage that you started at, and you didn't have to do any of that to begin with. Um, it's stuff like that that just honestly pisses me off. Like I just feel like that, and it's like played off like a joke, but I don't think it's very funny. I think it's like a waste of my time, and it just feels like bad game design. I'm not the only one who thinks this. A lot of people think that Paper Mario has a backtracking issue. Now they don't think it's as big of a deal as maybe I do, but backtracking has long been a long-standing criticism of Paper Mario. It's something I already knew about before I even bought the game. That's how popular this criticism is. Again, a lot of people don't feel as strongly as I do about it to like weigh down the whole game. And I wish it hadn't. Like I played all 35 hours of the game. Like I put my time in, I gave the game a chance. For me, the level design is just really ass backwards in terms of like how it's designed. It really feels like it's designed more to like make cute, fun environments than to make accessible environments. I will say too that every now and then it was just tough to jump from one thing to another because you can't really control the camera in 2.5D. Sometimes, like for example, this is a very niche example, but I mean it really pissed me off. The on the pirate ship level, when you're trying to jump on a barrel, you can't really exactly see where the banister is that you're supposed to jump from because like our perspective, right, as humans is like 3D, right? But the game is like 2.5D or whatever you want to call it. And so I can't really see exactly where the banister is, so I kind of just have to guesstimate it. And I like literally almost died because I just kept falling into the water. and you always get chomped or whatever when that happens. Um, so I think eventually I used Ruby, my Yoshi, who you get to name, and because he reminded me of a AEW wrestler who's like a punk rocker. And I had to use like the extra like floaty jump or whatever just to make it, just because I couldn't tell where the hell the jump started and where the jump ended. But like I said, I mean that was like a pretty one off, but it felt emblematic of me of like again like not really respecting the player's time and not really respecting like how we see it versus how the developers see it. Um, I'm well aware this is a beloved game. I didn't grow up with it. I don't have nostalgia for it. But like I said, I did love the original, or I liked the remake of the original Mario RPG, which obviously the Paper Mario series is heavily based on. I just didn't care for the level design. It just bothered the hell out of me. I think honestly, if they had made the traversal easier, like another thing that bothered me is the paper airplane controls. It just took me a while to get used to that. By the end of the game, it was fine, but especially in those first few levels, I was really struggling. I couldn't really understand how it worked. They do give you a tutorial, and but like in one of the stages, you have to do a paper airplane, or you have to use a block to get up towards the ceiling, run on a narrow like pathway, not fall off, then use an airplane, then go all the way back to where you came from to a different to the entrance that you want to get to. Uh, again, it's a 20-year-old game, and there are certainly allowances I can make for that. I've played other older games that have problems like this, but I've just never seen it so pronounced as with this. Again, to be clear, there's lots of good parts about this game. For me, it's just ruined by the level design. I feel like there's too much backtracking. There's too much like disrespecting the player's time and then making a joke about it, which to me makes it worse. Um, but yeah, I didn't like it overall, which I don't really want to dislike games like ever, especially not like high profile games like Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I remember watching a Let's Play of this like years ago, and I was like, wow, this looks like a great game. I think it was more. I had more fun watching someone play it than playing it myself personally. But um, but yeah, that's just me. Like I said, if this doesn't get us hate, I don't know what gaming take will. But yeah, Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door, not really for me. Just because of the level design. Again, everything else was great. Graphics, music, writing. Writing was awesome. And the gameplay was great too. So I didn't have any other issue, but just the level design really dragged it down, like I said. So that's my spiel about it.
All right, so the second game I'm going to talk about is Mafia Remastered, which is also a game I beat previously. I beat it on PS4. And it's a really good game. It's first of all, the visuals look really good. Even even on the Steam Deck, it's surprisingly impressive visually. Until I put it on the big screen on the dock, then it looks pretty bad. I couldn't play it on the Steam Deck anymore. So I decided to play it on my laptop, my gaming laptop, which is a 4060. So it looked really good there too. Uh, but it looked way better on the laptop. Of course, it looked better on my desktop, but I wanted to play it a little more portable. But it's a really good Steam Deck game, actually. Just be mindful that the button prompts don't work with the Steam Deck, so like it doesn't show you the proper button prompts. You have to memorize it, which are fairly simple ones anyway. But just keep that in mind. You're just gonna see white rectangles instead of like X, B, A, and Y. So it's a little frustrating there. But in terms of the game itself, of course, it's similar to GTA. Of course, you go to missions and you drive around and you know you do criminal activities. You get money from people. You force them to pay you, so you protect them. They're the mafia. And you have a rival gang like normal. I feel like that's the story for a lot of Saint Row and GTA games. Like there's a rival faction somewhere, and you have problems with them. So in this case, they have an issue with a rival, mafia, and so basically you play as Tommy, who's the main character of the first game, and he's a taxi driver, and he gets caught up with the mafia, and then he needs work, so he decides to work with them, and he gets too deep, and it's told from the it's told as a flashback basically, because the game starts with like in the future of him telling a cop about what's going on, and he tells you the whole story about him, and the game is quite linear actually. Even though you can drive around, there is the way the missions are structured is once you finish a mission, it jumps to the next time, like next part of the timeline. So it'd be like 1930, and then all of a sudden it'll be 1933. So it continues on. It's quite linear storytelling. And I actually really like about that. I sometimes I don't like just playing a giant open world game where I have to drive point A to point B, because they even gives you the option to skip driving if you want to at some parts. Like, because if you don't feel like driving across the map just to do that, there's an option just to skip that, which is awesome. This game is very cinematic. It's Hollywood quality writing. Like the one thing about the Mafia games, they have always have issues with gameplay, but the storytelling and acting and cinematography is top notch. Like this is some of the best in the industry. If you like that kind of stuff, like noir, detective, mafia kind of genre, Mafia is a must play series. All three of them, and then the fourth one this year, which we'll talk about later. But the first one especially is fantastic. I think people generally like the second one's story the best, but I'm not sure on that. And the third one's obviously really good too. It's underrated. But the first one is fantastic. Just in terms of story, the characters are all awesome. They talk like realistic Italian northeastern people. They swear a lot. Some things are offensive. It doesn't. It's GTA. It doesn't pull any punches, but not like super offensive. It's the time. It's the time period. Um, and the characters are all like likable, and they're all cool. They all have their own distinct personality. Now the gameplay is where this game suffers a bit. Um, the aiming in this game is very outdated. Like GTA, it's like it feels like a game from 2005, which it basically is because the first game is a remake of the game, a PS2 game. And it's a little wonky. It doesn't feel great. The stealth is not the best. The combat is very standard GTA lock on, dodge with a button, and then punch or kick, and it's basic. Uh, but it's not like horrendous or anything. It's not like gonna hurt your time playing this game. I think it's perfectly fine. It never too long. I think sometimes the enemies are too difficult at times. Like you can get overwhelmed. Like 7 guys can just run at you. Like there's gonna be like 3 guys that have a knife and they'll just run right at you, and you have to press Y to dodge. But it's hard to do that while you're in cover and someone's shooting at you, because you die pretty quick if you get like if you're out in the open, you will, and you get shot a couple times, you'll die. So that gets frustrating at times. This game, I remember that in the PS4 too. There's a couple sections where like it took me a while because it was just frustrating how the AI, I don't say smart, but how like tough the AI was when they were like running full speed at me with some guys with physical weapons while also shooting at me. So, but overall, it's fine. Just don't expect anything amazing. It's not Last of Us Part Two. It's not Max Payne. It's a basic gameplay, and the driving's all right. Obviously the section that everybody hates is the driving section, the racing section with the car. I did on the first try, but there was some moments where the turning was annoying, and I understand why people hate that part. It's annoying, but overall must play game if you like that kind of gameplay. I plan on going through all the Mafia games this year. By the time we get to the new one, which should be probably in the summer or the fall or something. So I think I have plenty of time. Because I beat Mafia 1 and 2 remastered before, but third one is one I never got to finish. So that's my plan. So yeah, I think it's a great game. It's a must play. It's up my alley. I love cinematic Hollywood style games as well as indies and stuff. So it's perfect for me. And yeah, uh, and then Dory, I can't wait to hear your horrible take. Because not everybody can have good taste. So
That's right.
you pity people that have bad taste. Sad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sad. So I played Astro Bot. And instead of doing a conventional a little impressions or review or whatever you want to call it, I wrote the top 10 reasons Astrobot is bad, actually. So this is going to be great. I'm very excited for Seb to see this. Seb has not seen any of this, so I don't know how he'll feel about it. But I have polled a couple of people, and they did think it was well written and funny, or at least half of it was. Thank you, Kim. All right. Number one reason that Astro Bot is bad, actually, is that the game is fun. I'm not supposed to be having fun. What is this, Disney World? Number two, it's too bright and cheerful. I feel like I'm Ben Starr at the 2023 Game Awards. Number three, the platforming is forgiving and accessible, which means that this game is for scrubs, obviously. Number four, the plot contains lovely homages to PlayStation, but unfortunately, half of the studios can't enjoy the marketing exposure that that would give them. Number five, Astrobot himself is just a ripoff of the Discord logo, which actually came out after Astrobot's Playroom, so figure that out. The boss fights are tense and fun, but Astrobot didn't actually finish the job, which is shown at the end of the game. Spoilers. So, what was it really worth? The music is really playful and entertaining, but one time I missed a jump because it was so good. So the music is bad, actually. The checkpoint system is usually forgiving as well, but gamers don't deserve forgiveness, so that's nonsense. Number nine, the game makes complete use of controller, but that just means I need to hit more buttons and look like an asshole playing the Nintendo Wii all over again. And number 10, finally, I said that's cute too many times, and it has subsequently hurt my street cred. Thank you. That is top 10 reasons why Astrobot is bad, actually. I hope you enjoyed that, Seb. I did actually write that all out.
I give you 20 reasons why you have horrible taste. Starting with the last two games you picked.
Yeah, I know. I do want to say though, genuinely, Astrobot is a great game. I didn't have anything really negative to say about it, so I just decided to turn into a little bit, mostly to annoy Seb. Kim was so confused when I sent her this. She's like, "I thought you liked the game. I'm like, why are you doing this?" I'm like, "Oh, I just want to annoy Seb."
You don't
She's
annoy
like,
me.
"Oh, okay."
I pity you. It's just sad when
But
people
no,
have good taste.
yeah. In all seriousness, I thought it was a great game. I really enjoyed myself. I want to say 6 or 7 hours into it. I got it for free for Christmas, so it didn't cost me anything. Uh, I got it through gift cards and stuff. I genuinely think the music is really good. It's a very cute game. I found all the boss fights very satisfying. I remember in the last game, I didn't like one of the boss fights, or maybe two of them. I found them really annoying, overly challenging, maybe. Um, these felt really right. I mean, I did die once or twice when I was really close to like one-shotting a boss, but whatever. I think that the tribute levels in particular are very cute. The God of War one made my heart grow two sizes, and then I remembered I was the Grinch, and I shut that shit down.
Clearly.
But yes, clearly. I thought the Uncharted level was really cute. The Horizon level felt kind of, I don't know, didn't feel as good as the others, but I still enjoyed it. Obviously, I love the Horizon series, so that was very cute. Um, the credit sequence was really good too. I really have nothing like actually substantially negative to say about it. I do actually kind of genuinely don't like that there's like half of these studios or mascots or whatever or characters aren't even in Sony anymore, and that does kind of bother me on a low level, but it's not a big deal. It was funny. I'll talk about Deus Ex next week because we don't have enough time. It was very funny playing a game like Deus Ex, which is very political and all about corporations controlling the world, while at the same time I was playing a very shiny, bright game all about celebrating one of the biggest corporations in the world. I did think that was funny, but it doesn't make the game bad. I just thought it was like thematically hilarious. It's a great game. It didn't blow me away. Platforming's not my genre. I see why this is some people's goatee. I understand. It's not me personally. It didn't even make my list or my honorable mentions, which is where Seb's disappointed in me. But I also never expected it to be. But I did finish it before the year was up, so I'm glad I got to finish it. I gave it a real shot. Um, I did think every once in a while, I think once or twice, that the amount of bots that they wanted was a little annoying because you sometimes had to go back into levels that I'd already beaten. But I understand also it's a collectathon, and this is kind of how platformers work. It is just another reason why I often don't gel with platformers because you have to go back and do things all over again, and that's like a big pet peeve for me, as shown with the Paper Mario review that I just did. And I already hear the torches and the pitchforks right now. But yeah, it's a great game. I don't really have too much to say about it. In all seriousness, I just wanted to to make Seb pity me more, I guess.
This is gonna just. I have an announcement. This is gonna be our last episode ever.
That's right.
I'm gonna find a better
So, did any
co-host.
of those jokes make you laugh? By the way, Kim said a couple of them were funny, and some of my other friends said a couple were funny.
Yeah, I was. I chuckled about that. Like it
Okay,
wasn't.
all
It wasn't
right,
like
good, good.
laugh out loud. Like oh my
No,
god,
no,
I'm dying.
I'm not. Hey, whoa, I'm not setting my expectations that high, but
Yeah,
a good chuckle is all I wanted.
yeah.
All right, so yeah.
It
Anyway,
was.
that's Astro
It
Bot.
was
It's a great
amusing.
game.
Yeah.
Yes, good. That's what I was aiming for. It's not highbrow art. But yeah, I think everybody should go play it. I think people should wait for a sale. Personally, I don't think it's worth 60 or even 50. I think it's more like 40 or 30. But that's also me personally because I'm not big into platformers and I am not a collectathon kind of person. I didn't 100% it or anything like that.
All hail Astrobot.
Yeah, all hail Astrobot.
All right. Anyway, so now that's what we've been playing. So let's get into all the games coming out
All of the
in
games.
2025. But first, let's start with January, because January is looking like kind of like a backlogged month, honestly.
Yeah.
But there is some games I'm interested in, which we'll talk about. First of all, just to be mindful, we're not talking about every single game coming out in January. Don't say like, oh, you forgot this and you forgot that. I picked as many games that I felt like Dory and I would be somewhat interested in, or at least could have a conversation about. Like, there's obviously like 50 indie games I could have mentioned too, but like we don't have all day. That's just not realistic for a podcast. So I hit all the big ones. And what we're gonna do every month now, the first episode of the month, is we're gonna hit on what's coming out that month and if it interests us or not. All right, so the first one is Freedom Wars Remastered, which comes out on PS5, Switch, and PC. If you didn't know what that is, it's a remaster of a Vita game, which I never played, but I know of it. It takes place in a dystopian future. Everybody's in a city state prison, and everybody's a prisoner, and they have to work off their time and by doing very dangerous missions, and you fight monsters and things like that. And it's a co-op like online multiplayer game too, if you want to do that. And yeah, it's really cool. It's a really good game. It's underrated. I don't plan on getting it day one, but I do plan on getting it perhaps in the future when it's on sale. So I'll have it wish listed, but it's not day one for me. Any interest, Story?
I've heard of this game prior. I had forgotten about it, but I had heard of it. It's not for really for me. I didn't have a Vita growing up either. I think the last
Well, I had a
handheld
Vita.
system.
I just didn't play this game.
Yeah, the last handheld system I think I had was the Nintendo DS. I want to say, and then after that, I don't think I ever had another one. Well, obviously, unless you count the Switch now. Um, yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to say about this is that I was asking Seb to explain this game to me, and I had stepped away from the computer for a second to go do something, and he messaged me explaining the game. He said every citizen is a prisoner, but I hadn't seen the previous messages since I had walked away for a second. So I just come back to my computer. I see the notification that every citizen is a prisoner. I was like, holy shit, Seb got really radical in like the last 5 seconds. But yeah, besides that, I don't really have anything to say
Down
about
with the
it. It does look
fascism.
cool.
Down with the fascism.
Down with the fascists. That's right. We'll be talking about that a little bit later with Sniper Elite. But yeah, it looks cool, and I'm glad it's getting a remaster. But it doesn't look like it's for me.
Yeah. All right. Next game was Hyper Light Breaker. Uh,
Yeah.
Now this is a sequel to Hyper Light Drifter, but this one takes place before it, I believe. I
Yes.
never played the first game, so I don't know much about it. I know like the visuals and I know what it is, but I don't really have a connection to it. So this is a game where I don't plan on getting it until I beat the first one, or at least played the first one. So that I'm kind of a wait and see. And I forgot to put the date for this one, but I think it comes out like in the
It's
middle
like
of
January 14th,
yeah, it comes out in the
early
middle.
access.
Yeah. And I forgot to say Freedom Wars comes out the 10th. So these are games.
Yeah.
All these games will come out in the middle of January, not like the beginning. All right.
Right.
Anything you have anything to add about that one?
I was initially interested. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or not. I'm going to look at reviews. It is a roguelike, which I'm usually mixed on, but
Same.
I do really like the look of it, and I do um, like I don't know. I could get into this. I could see myself getting into this, but I'm gonna let it go through early access and see how what people are saying. And when it comes out 1.0, maybe I'll get it if reviews are positive. I think the
Yeah.
world looks beautiful. I love the art direction a lot and the aesthetic of it. I also love the name. It's so rare these days that video games have really cool names, but Hyperlight Breaker just sounds really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of also sounds like an edgy Xbox username I would have made in the mid 2000s. So I'm a little biased
XX.
there, but you know, it looks cool, and I like the name, and I do like roguelikes from time to time. Roguelites, whatever.
Yeah. I'm mixed on roguelites as well, so that's why I wouldn't jump out at me
Yeah.
as something that appeals to me. All right. Next game is Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is a remaster of a Wii game. Um, I never played that one, and so I'm interested in it. My dad will probably get it, and we share our games. So I always get anything he gets, I have it as well. So I don't have to buy it. I'll play it if he gets it. I don't plan on getting it myself. Like I said before, I have no interest in the Switch anymore until the new Switch comes out. I just don't feel like playing the Switch right now. I'm really into my Steam Deck and PC right now. So we'll see, but I this is my kind of game though. I love Donkey Kong Country, love platformers. I have a long history with Donkey Kong Country, and this comes out on the Switch only, obviously, and it comes out on January 16th. Any interest, story?
No, not really for me. I mean, I I struggled with like the last level of Astro Bot, which was like a space level. And that felt challenging at times. I can't even imagine trying to play Donkey Kong game. I will say I'm aware that the newer games like this one have modes that are made for people like me who are not good at platformers. Um, so that's cool, and that has tempted me in the past, but I don't think I'm that invested anymore in Donkey Kong as like a media property, honestly. Let alone as a platformer franchise. I did love the Donkey Kong Country games when I was a kid. They were hard as heck. I don't know how the hell I played them. Um, and I also loved Donkey Kong 64 when I was a kid. Trans rights. So you know, I have some fondness for the series, but it's pretty much gone at this point in terms of like being able to work up enough to play it. But yeah, again, another game. I'm glad it's getting ported, and I'm glad more people can play it. But it's not really for me.
Awesome. So next one is Tales of Grace F Remastered, which I not familiar with. I believe it's a Wii game. It's an action RPG. It's an anime game. It it, it interests me because I like these kind of games. But I'm not day one or anything like that. But I will wish list this and I will pick it up if it's on sale in the future. And it feels like a perfect game for the Steam Deck because it seems like a Steam Deck can run it really well. If it obviously it's on the Switch, so a Steam Deck should have no problems running it. So I'm interested, but just not right now. And Dory, I know you have no like you don't know what know what it is. So
I have no idea what the hell this is. It reminds me of the Tales series, but I don't think it's related. Um,
that's what I thought at first
so
because I'm just not familiar with the series.
Oh, it says it's the 12th main installment of the 12th main installment. Jesus Christ! I mean, I say that, and Final Fantasy's on 16, but whatever.
We're just pissing everybody
And
off
not the
tonight.
what's that?
We're pissing everybody off today. The JRPG
That's right.
fans are
That's right.
screaming at the
Hey,
screen.
I piss you off. Piss you off. Piss you. I was starting off the new year fresh, hot. Anyway. Yeah. Apparently, the game is ported to PS3 under the title Tales of Grace. Grace's F. The
That's
was
what
for this game. Fucking rules. I don't know.
this game
But
is
anyway.
called too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like these kind of games. I love me some anime. I'm actually right in the middle of watching Parasite the Maxim for the first time, which I'm really enjoying. Um, I don't know. I'll watch reviews and maybe, but I have no idea. This is a series that I'm not familiar with at all.
All right. So the next game I'm probably gonna get day ones. If there's any game I'm getting day one, it's this one, which would be Dynasty Warriors Origins. I have not played a Dynasty Warriors game in quite a while. I feel like the last one I played was the Fire Emblem one, which is not even a Dynasty Warrior game, but it's like the same genre. on the Switch, which these games are really fun. Like they're just mindless, smack a bunch of people on the screen. And obviously, this is a next gen one, so there's thousands of people on the screen, and I'm really curious how it's gonna run on my PC. And it's gonna be a blast to play. These games are just fun, mindless fun, and that's the whole point of it. But we'll see on the reviews. If the game gets like middle reviews, then I can just wait for a sale. So I'm leaning on I'll probably get day one, but it really depends. What about you?
This series is wild. I remember watching G4 and watching X Play, and they were reviewing these games. So whenever I see these games, it's kind of a blast of the past to me, to like the mid 2000s. Um, I've never had any interest in this franchise or this type of genre. I understand the appeal. I think it's cool as hell. I think it's great that technology has finally progressed, that we can actually have like a legitimate like armies versus armies, or one versus army, really. I think that's awesome. But the genre is not really, it doesn't really appeal to me. Uh, but I get the appeal. Like I see why people like it, but I'll probably skip it. I mean, unless it gets amazing reviews and it's like, oh, this is the reinvention of the series that everyone's been wanting. But probably not. Let's be real.
Yeah, I have it. I won't say I played like all of them, but I played a good amount of them on PS2. Used to rent them from Blockbuster, and they were always a blast to play. But they do get really repetitive after a while. So
Right.
it's kind of game you kind of like just put it like you put it on for like an hour and then you get your fill for it. But we'll see. Um, all right. So moving on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which comes out the 23rd on PC. Obviously, as we talked about last episode, it was our number 3 game of the year last year, and obviously I love it. And I have a giant cloud statue right next to me, so I'm a giant Final Fantasy fan. I already bought this, of course, because I'm going to play it on PC. Because one of the issues with that game was that the performance was not great. When I put the game on performance mode to get 60 frames, the graphics were really bad. And once I had to play in 30 frames just to have good graphics. That was frustrating. So hopefully now on my PC I should get the performance and good graphics. And I'm gonna go through the remake. Although I am gonna go through Final Fantasy VII remake first on the PC because I haven't done that yet. And then I'll get into Rebirth. So I already bought this day one. So and Dora, I know you're probably not gonna you don't replay games. So let's move on to the next thing.
I don't usually replay games unless their name has the words Kingdom Hearts and 2 in the title. Uh Actually, over the break I was considering getting back into speedrunning that, but I digress. Anyway, yeah, I don't have any interest in doing that. I spent 50 hours, I want to say 60 maybe, on Rebirth. I am fucking good. I do not need to play that game again
It doesn't.
just to see how pretty it is.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't bother me as much because of course Final Fantasy VII I love, but also because
For sure.
it's been like a year now, so it's
Yeah,
not like I
that's
played it
fair.
November or anything like that.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. For me, I almost never replay games unless like it's been years and I really miss it. Like Arkham Origins is a game I think I could go back to again and again. I actually considered doing that during the holiday season just because it was really appropriate, but I didn't end up doing it. Guardians of the Galaxy is another game I'm thinking about replaying because I love that game so much. And I'm thinking about playing it on the PlayStation, but because I played it originally on the PC with my Xbox controller. But yeah, so there are games I will replay, but Rebirth isn't one of them. It's too long, and
And yeah,
I had too many issues with some of the open world stuff. So, but yeah, I obviously I support it being on multiple platforms. So this is awesome.
I do. Yeah, I do remember you getting the Guardians code for Steam or something like that. That's how you were able to play it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Anyway, another game that's coming to PC finally is Star Wars Hunters, which is a free to play online game. I think it's 4v4, and it takes place after the Empire. So you're not gonna play as like Darth Vader or anything. You play as like these all original characters. Um, Obviously, people in the Discord recommend it strongly. They love it. Um, it looks okay. If it's free to play, it doesn't hurt to try it, right? Marvel Rivals
Verse.
is one of the is really fantastic. It's a great game. Everybody's digging it. I think it's quite popular. I see a lot of streamers playing it. So Disney probably seeing cash like in the Star Wars franchise, and why not? If Marvel's making money on these free to play games, then let's try with Star Wars. Put it on PC, where there's a bigger audience, where there's a huge audience too. I think it's on mobile and Switch, which is a huge audience. And yeah, I'll try it out. I'm not expecting to be blown away by it, but like if it's fun for a couple hours, I'll play it. And I know Doria, you have no interest in these kind of
I have
genres.
no interest. Free to play games are usually wash right over me like the tide. I don't. I yeah. I have no interest. But yeah. Very weird. This is a very niche game, from what I understand. Pretty old game. They actually updated a couple of things. I think they changed Mace Windu's lightsaber, so now that it's purple, or
Well,
some
no,
shit. I don't
no,
know.
no, that's in the other Star Wars game, I think.
Oh, that's another Star Wars game. Oops, my bad. But yeah. I have nothing to say about this. Yep.
Okay. The next one you guys, Internal Strands, which I'm waiting for reviews for this one, but Eternal Strands is like this third person action game, and you use like magic and elements to fight against these like really tall titans. Basically, it's from Mike Laidlaw, he was the creative director of Dragon Age. So a lot of people I've been not seeing a lot of people, but I've seen a good amount of people hyping it as a really cool like double A game, and it comes out the 28th of January. Dory, do you have any interest in that one?
I I think it looks cool. And obviously the creative director of Dragon Age moves me a little bit. Like you, I will be looking for reviews. I suspect that we're going to get a lot of sevens. This feels like a 7 out of 10 game to me.
Mm.
And if they're asking, as I suspect they are, 60, $50, I'm going to wait for a sale.
Yeah, that's a wave. This looks like a $30 game to me. I mean, obviously it's premature to say that, but I feel like
Yeah, I get
safe
that
bet.
vibe. I hate saying that, but some of it does feel a little I don't know, tacky, plasticky. It feels like a game I've seen a million times before. I don't know. I hate that. I'm not trying to dunk on it or whatever. I'm sure it's going to have its fans, and it
Yeah,
doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look great either. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a lot of sevens. Maybe it'll get a cult following or something, but I think it's going to be one of those January games that people are just going to forget after a few weeks.
I can see that. It looks like a mix between Shadow of the Colossus and like Tears of the Kingdom, I guess.
I agree. I'm definitely seeing that through the ability to climb on bosses and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
I think is cool. Not something I really need in my games, but if they're able to integrate it, a lot of magic going on here too,
We don't get that a lot.
and a lot of different powers and shit. So
We don't get a lot of like games where you climb on giant titan things. Like you think that'd be a
yeah,
popular genre, and really,
yeah,
it's
you
really
would think
not.
so, especially for how popular Shadow of the Colossus ended up being for PlayStation. But no.
Was it super popular though? I always felt like it was like
Oh
a
well, I
cult
don't know. I
classic.
guess I remember it being popular because it was so critically acclaimed, but maybe it didn't sell very well.
I think it's a cult classic. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I could be
maybe.
wrong. I have to look. Anyway, Spider-Man 2 comes out comes out January 30th on the PC finally. For me that's day 1, of course. I played every Spider-Man game on PC. I beat the first one on PC. I'm going to play through Miles Morales first again. It's a short game. And then I'll play Spider-Man 2. Obviously Spider-Man 2 is a great game. It was in my top 5 of 2023, and Dory
This is my number two.
is your number 2, yeah. And Dory, I think you think it's the greatest superhero game ever, right? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. To
I think
me, anyway, it's the best superhero game that's ever been made. Yeah,
I think it's second after Arkham City, but either way, it's high praise, and I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm really excited to play it. Ultra settings.
This,
Spider-Man 1 remastered looked fantastic, like amazing on PC. So this game's gonna look
yeah.
even better. So
Now, this is a game I am tempted to go back into. I loved this game a lot. It's not as long as Rebirth. Obviously, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite superhero. So maybe when a certain someone gets it in this library, I will at least turn it on and go for some web swing. Although it will feel very weird playing on my PC with an Xbox controller. So I will have to.
well, you can
Uh,
play with your PS5 controller.
oh, that's right. I could do it like that. Yeah.
Because
Um,
it will probably have DualSense features. Because
Yeah,
Steam
yeah,
has
yeah.
that
It'll
now.
probably it'll probably work like that. I'm just so used to using it using my Xbox controller. Um, well, really, it's a like a Nitro Sense controller or whatever. Um, but yeah, this is a game I am tempted to try at some point, just to see how it looks on my PC and how it runs. And obviously I just love the game to death. I did speed run Spider-Man 1 once, and I like beat it I think in 10 hours. Um, I tried doing that with Miles, but you can't skip a lot of the cutscenes, and
I
it
know
sucks.
that was the worst part of the game. Was
Uh,
that was
yeah,
the
I don't understand why Insomniac did that. I think in the PC version, wait, is there a PC version of Miles Morales? I forget.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there are mods that let you skip cutscenes, and the speedrunning community has to be so happy about that. Um, but yeah, because that's a much more approachable speedrunning game than
There's probably mods to
Spider-Man
do that.
One.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
Though Insomniac are wizards because it looks fantastic on ultra settings on PC, but they also run fantastic on the Steam Deck, like really good, like high quality
yeah.
Steam Deck, like the how they're able to do that. They're great handheld games as well. All right, two more games. Sniper Elite Resistance. I've never really played Sniper Elite. I might have played one of them. But I'm very familiar with them. It's just the game where like you snipe people, and it has like the X-ray like Mortal Kombat kills.
Well, people might be stretching it a little bit, but yeah, you shoot Nazis mostly.
Yeah. It has like really creative kills, like the nut shots and it goes right through their skull or something like that, and it's really detailed and it's funny. But I think people are complaining that this game is like too similar to the last game because it feels like DLC. But if you like these kind of games and you're happy, I think.
I believe it literally was a case of DLC turned into an all new game, but I could be wrong on that. So, similar to Seb, I've never played any of these games. I have no interest. If your first words out of your mouth after I get to shoot a gun is I have to worry about wind resistance and bullet drop, I immediately bullet drop out of your game because that sounds incredibly boring and unnecessary to me personally. I don't really care for that kind of realism in my shooting games, especially when I'm trying to shoot Nazis. And so, yeah, doesn't really do it for me, but everybody who enjoys the game, hopefully it's a good and improves on the formula.
Yeah. I do have interest in it, but it's just not gonna be day one. It's gonna be a wait for a sale, and I'll try it out. So, all right, and then our last game, which comes out this last day of January 31st, which is Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. So
Star Wars Vector, wake the fuck up, sleepers! Let's go! This is obviously the game I'm most excited about.
go ahead, talk
Oh
about it.
yeah, so I love Citizen Sleeper. I'm a huge CTRPG person. I talk about D&D all the time. I just had a Pathfinder session last night. I'm big into Dungeons and Dragons and rolling dice and role playing games, of course. So I mean, this was huge for me. I believe the creator behind it is non-binary too, so the game's very kind of inclusive and accessible. Um, it's got really sharp narrative. The graphics are amazing. I think the dice gameplay can be challenging at times because obviously it's very luck based, but it never felt unfair. I felt like very well balanced between uh challenging but not crushing. I will say I had some problems with the first game, very minor problems, but like the UI could be a little fidgety sometimes. And when you're playing a game like that with a lot of pointing and clicking and rolling dice and stuff like that, the UI is a big deal. But generally speaking, I mean, the writing was superb, the music was superb, the graphics were great. This looks to be honestly pretty much more the same. I did play the demo and we talked about it a little bit. They've added crews, so now you can assemble your own crew when you go on certain voyages and stuff like that, and you've got to worry about certain factors like stress, and that'll impact how well they roll with their own dice. Certain crew members are predisposed to be better at certain things than other crew members. So you have to think tactically about how you're going to tackle every day. I found it engaging personally. I know this is a super fucking nerdy game made by a super fucking nerdy company. Pretty small company, actually. Very indie, very indie. Um, but it's made by the fine folk, or it's published by the fine folks at, I want to say Traveling Wanderer or something like that. I forget. They did a lot of uh, they did a lot of the other kind of story based games that we've talked about before, but I forget what the hell they're called. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's easily the game I'm most excited for. It'll probably be in my top 10. Honestly, it'll probably
Fellow
be my
traveler,
game of the year. What's that?
fellow traveler.
Fellow Traveler, thank you. I was like Traveling Wanderer or something. Fellow Traveler, they come out with a lot of really good narrative games. They actually host their own conference called the Ludo Narrative Con or something like that, which has a lot of these kind of games that are Dory games. So this is very much a me game. I'm excited as hell. If you haven't played Citizen Sleeper 1, like somebody hasn't, you should. It's really good. It's not for everybody, of course, if you're not into the kind of rolling the dice and more luck based. And there's some dark themes too, of course, tackled. Nothing, not nothing like Silent Hill 2 level, but
Yeah.
still, like, it's not a bright game at all times. But yeah, I think overall I would highly recommend it to just about anybody. I remember back when I was in with the Drop Punks Discord, I talked to Tactical Dreamer about it, and he loved it too. So that was always fun. But Citizen Sleeper is a great game. Wake the fuck up, Sleeper. Let's go. I'm very excited.
All right. So that concludes our games for January. Like I said, a lot of maybes, a lot of we'll sees. Not really a great big month, which is fine. Mostly a backlog month. So let's get into our most anticipated games of 2025. Now, for the sake of time, we can't have a big 20-minute conversation for every single game because it would be a 5-hour show. So we're gonna speed through these a little bit, not like too much, but it's definitely be a faster pace. Because some games only appeal to me, and some games would probably only appeal to Dory, or we have a general interest, but not like I can have a full conversation about it.
Right.
All right, so let's start with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So let's just be clear that the first section we're doing is games that have a release date. So we're gonna talk about a lot of games, but a lot of these games that are coming in 2025 do not have a specific release date. All of the ones we're gonna talk about right now have a specific release date. So first one is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is a sequel to Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a realistic medieval simulator. A lot of people love it. I don't know how popular it is, but at the very least, it's a cult classic. People that love it that really love it. And
It was reviewed very well
yeah,
when it came out. It was highly reviewed. I remember it was one of those games that came out that year. I think it was 2022, maybe. And it was a really big hit. I had never heard of the franchise or that kind of game before, but it was very funny because you could do hilarious things with some of the kind of negotiating. I don't remember all the details, but I remember outside Xbox did some videos on the funny stuff you could do in that game.
yeah. And this game is literally always the first game is literally always on sale for like $2, $3 on Steam. So there's like no excuse not to try it at least. But this is a we'll see. I never played the first game, but like this is something I can jump into the second one. Why not? But I think this is like a direct sequel to the first game, so maybe you do have to play the first one. But at the very least, I'm interested. This is not a day one for me. But this is a wait and see. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do Dory. Like if you have not much to say, just say we'll see, or just say like I'm day one, or say like
Yeah,
no
I'm not.
interest
I'm not.
or no interest.
Yeah, no interest for me personally. Not my genre.
All right. Next one, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Obviously, it was supposed to come out last year and it got delayed. So these games are, I'm going in order by time as well. So Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out in February as well. Comes out on February 14th on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So if
That's weird.
obviously if you don't know the controversy, people are mad that one of the samurai guys is black because you play as two characters. You have the ninja, the woman is a ninja, and the samurai guy who's more of like a tank build. He's black, and people are upset about that. The whole conversation. But besides that, I think I'm excited for this. I do think I do think Ubisoft's a little upset with Sucker Punch for beating them to the punch because there was always hint of an open world like
They
Japanese.
literally got sucker punched.
Yeah, literally. Um, so so this game did feel like it just It's different enough though. If it's not like
Yeah.
it's not going for a samurai thing, it's going for like different vibe. But I'm excited for it. But in my day one, no, because Ubisoft games always go on sale. If you just wait like 2 months, they're like half off. Like
Yeah,
literally.
isn't how low did Outlaws get? Isn't Outlaws already like 30% off or something?
Yeah, I got it for like 35 bucks
Yeah, and it only came out what in August. So yeah,
on Steam. Yeah, yeah.
on Steam. Yeah, yeah.
It came
So
out in like springtime, I think, or summer.
yeah, this feels too little, too late for Ubisoft. I've been very vocal about not liking Ubisoft as a company, and I just generally don't even like the genre that they make of open world games. I think it generally gives the open world genre a bad name.
Just too big.
Honestly,
Yeah,
for what's that?
just too big. Like just too much going on
Yeah,
at
too
once.
big. It's too much. Valhalla and Origins and all those games are in Odyssey are just fucking ridiculous. 100 hours just to beat a game, like no fucking thank you. Like unless you're Baldur's Gate 3, which those games are not Baldur's Gate 3. Let's be
Yeah,
clear. Yeah, this feels too little, too late for me personally. I think all those people who are complaining about fucking historically accurate black samurais are fucking idiots and should go watch Afro Samurai
he was a real person
or
anyway, too.
what's that?
He was a real person anyway, but
Yeah, he's a real person. So it's like I don't fucking know,
I'm
but
sure I'm sure I'm sure they're taking liberties on it. I mean, it's
yeah,
fiction,
but like
but
it's
who
fucking
cares?
Ubisoft.
Who
Like,
cares?
yeah, you know. Anyway, the combat does look cool to be clear, and the game does look decently polished. But I just have such a shaky foundation of trust with Ubisoft at this point. And even Outlaws, which came out and got decent scores, had a lot of bugs, a lot of problems. It's been cleaned up now, but that's always the story with Ubisoft. They never release a game. Now it was finished. Now they did delay it, so hopefully it's not as bad as Outlaws was, because I know Outlaws even had some game breaking bugs and a lot of glitches and graphical stuff. Uh but yeah, my interest is minimal. If it gets amazing reviews, I mean, maybe I'll check it out down the line. But even then, it's probably wait for a sale.
Yeah, and it's one of those games where like you can't use the one I bought because it's
Exactly.
Ubisoft. But I think this game's gonna be good. I don't think it's gonna be fantastic. I think it's gonna be pretty good. I've never been a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I like the series, but it's never been one of my
Yeah.
favorite series. People really love it,
Two,
but not for me.
two and Black Flag are like the pillars for me of that franchise, and then everything else is like
Yeah,
pretty good, or you shouldn't touch it, or there's some other ones that are lesser known.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, eventually Assassin's Creed just felt like copy paste to some degree.
yeah. All right. Speaking of pillars, Vow takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe,
Nice.
and now, obviously, you and I are both hyped for this game because it's from
Yes.
Obsidian. They've made Outer Worlds, which Dory really loves, and I really like as well. And I think it's
Yes.
and obviously New Vegas is the greatest Fallout game. So I'm really hyped for
Great.
this. Obsidian has never made a bad game, and Val obviously was supposed to come out last year and it got delayed as well, which made February so freaking stacked. Um, I'm really hyped for it. Like, do I think it looks like perfect? Like, obviously, I've had some issues with like what I've saw from some trailers. Like the visuals looked off, but it seems like they cleaned it up a bit. Um, it's gonna be a good game. I would be shocked if this game is bad or average. I think it's gonna be at least good. Even if the visuals and gameplay are not the most incredible thing ever, I think the writing and the characters and the acting will be so good that it will make up for it. But only time will tell, but I have Obsidian is one of my favorite developers, and I have a lot of faith in this. This is day one for me. I know Dory, you're gonna play it on Game Pass, but for me on Steam, this is day one. So
I'm day one, absolutely. First off, hashtag Obsidian has never done a wrong thing in their life. I'm getting the hashtag worked on. But they're so good at narrative stuff. I replayed Outer Worlds last year, which that feels weird to say. And it's excellent. I love the game a lot. I'm really excited to play an RPG, with all due respect to Dragon Age Veilguard, that I can really like mess around a little bit more and have a little more creative freedom. I
yeah,
didn't mind the way that Veilguard was, to be clear, but I certainly am excited about having more of freedom with my character. I mean, I'm not probably not going to be a dick or anything, but laugh at the guy who's a virgin or whatever at the beginning of the game. That was pretty funny to watch though. The IGN guy decided to just be a total dick to him. It was very funny. But there's going to be some hilarious playthroughs of this game. I'm very excited. I didn't really grow up playing what this really reminds me of, and obviously kind of what they're aping at, which isn't a bad thing. But Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff like that. This gives me heavy vibes from that. I didn't really play those games growing up, which I know sounds illegal at this point in gaming history. I think I played a little bit of Oblivion, but I couldn't get into it, or I got lost, or it was a friend's. I don't remember. But I do have vague memories of playing some of Elder Scrolls, the Oblivion one, anyway.
Never played Skyrim. Never played GTA 5.
I know.
Don't play Fortnite. Don't play Minecraft. Don't play anything.
I'm the worst. Don't play Fortnite or Minecraft. I'm not a real gamer.
I'm just fine. I don't play those either. But yeah, it looks similar because it's pretty much the same genre, first person Western RPG,
for sure.
open world. That's what the.
But I'm day one for sure. Yeah,
and Pillars of Eternity is a great series as well if you haven't played that. All right, so this is day one. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. This is also day one for me. Now this game is divided into two different tapes. The first one comes out February 18th, and the second one comes out March 18th, so they're a month apart. But yeah, it's from Dontnod. This game gives major Life is Strange vibes that you can put. It's pretty much a Life is Strange game in everything but title. This is day one for me. This is also a Dory game, so very choice based narrative, quirky teenagers.
Quirky teenagers.
Say hello.
Queerness is going to be off the charts. There's going to be people discovering their identity. Yep, it's a Dory game to a T, to a D.
Yep.
What's that?
Like all the catchphrases like Chloe and Max say, like
Rocket Shot. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
the game looks great. Yeah. I love the art direction. Sorry, I was coughing. I love the art style. And obviously I am somewhat nostalgic for tapes. I mean, by the time I was old enough to use tapes, they were kind of falling out of fashion. But I am old enough to remember when tapes were still used. Of course, VHS tapes. And cassette tapes and all that stuff. Although by the time I was a teenager, CDs were all the rage. And then before I knew it, I was poor for having a CD player at high school. But anyway, I'm really excited for it. It looks good. Dontnod makes some good stuff, usually. So I will make sure with reviews, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be a day one. Now, do we know if tape 1 and tape 2 are a bundle? Like if you buy one, you get access to the other, or is it separate? You have to buy one and then buy the next one? Because that kind of stinks if that's the case.
That's a good question. Let me look it up. Lost Record.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Steam. Maybe Steam's selling it together.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, it's not on sale yet. Like they're not selling it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm assuming that it's together as a bundle. I would assume as one game.
All right.
I would assume it's one game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's like $40, or it's gonna be like $20 each episode or something. I don't know.
Sure, and that seems fair to me. I like that.
Yeah, I'll just get the bundle. I don't see the point of doing that unless I really didn't have the money at the time or something. All right.
I don't really like. I will say I don't really like Dontnod returning to this episodic structure.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it's necessary.
Dated.
It feels outdated.
Yeah.
It's like a Telltale thing. I don't know why we're still doing this or trying to make it a thing. Nobody does this anymore.
Even back
Telltale is barely even alive anymore anyway. So
yeah, even back then, people were tired of the episodic thing.
Exactly. So I don't know why the fuck they're doing that, but hopefully it's good.
Yeah. Another day one game. Just how stacked February is. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Obviously, it's batshit crazy. I mean, he has amnesia. And he's like, I'm gonna be a pirate. Why not?
Yeah.
And there's like a whole story to it. He has a whole cast of characters. A little boy joins his crew, and it's crazy.
I'm so fucking excited for this game. Now, I'm double excited because at first, I don't know why, I thought this was DLC. I thought this was just a normal DLC. I thought, oh well, RGG puts out banger after banger, but clearly they just put out fucking Infinite Wealth, so it couldn't possibly be a full game. And then of course I go to put it on my wish list, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's $60. And I was like, oh, this isn't the DLC; it's a full length game somehow. Obviously by reusing a lot of assets, but they do that so smartly. I don't care. There's ways to reuse assets that's smart and considerate for both development team and for players. Anyway, this could be my goatee. I can't lie. This could be my goatee immediately. I love Yakuza. I've fallen in love with the series. I love Majima so much. And he's one of my favorite characters of all time. I think his introduction in Yakuza Zero, I could write fucking essays about how good it is. Um, I just love him as a character. This looks like we're bringing back Black Flag, baby, and I'm all for that. I'm not expecting it maybe to be exactly the same, but I mean, it's sure as shit going to be better than the other fucking game that came out, Skull and Bones or whatever the hell it was. Um, I'm really excited. You got Majima, you got Pirates. RGG is obviously behind this. Uh, this could be cinema. I don't know. Just putting that out there. I'm very excited. Obviously, February is ridiculously stacked.
Yeah, Lego Dragon Infinite Wealth was my last game beat of 2024. I beat it on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. So at 11 o'clock. So it was an hour before. I loved it, and I'm super hyped for this game. This is day one for me as
Yeah.
well. All right. Monster Hunter Wilds. I wanted to shout it out. I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan, but I have played Worlds, and I do own Worlds and Rise, so it's not like I've not played them. I keep trying to get into it, but it just never clicks with me. But I heard this one's more accessible for newer fans, so we'll see. So I have my eyes on it. I wanted to shout it out because it's one of the biggest games of the year. It's gonna sell a lot.
It's so big that Yakuza, pirate, whatever. I think the title's horrible, by the way. But whatever. Like Yakuza is well known for its ridiculous titles, and I find it endearing. As opposed to Naughty Dog and their new game, which we'll talk about later. But anyway, yeah, they literally moved back their release date, like not forward, but back, just to avoid Monster Hunter because they knew, pardon the expression or don't, whatever, monster of a game that is going to be. Monster Hunter is huge for Capcom. So it's not for me. I'm not trying this. I'm not even looking at it twice. I'm going to be a pirate on the mean seas of off of Hawaii, and I
Oh
could not care less that this game is coming out. But I'm happy for the people who are happy about it, of course. And obviously, it does great numbers for Capcom, who have been on a motherfucking tear the past few years. So good for them.
yeah, except for Resident Evil 3, but yeah.
Well, we pity the people who have bad taste. So
We do, we do. I gotta do an episode with her every week. So yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, like, I might get it in the future when it's on sale, like, cause like Monster Hunter like World is always like 10-15 bucks, and like Rise is always like 10-15 bucks now. So like maybe I'll play it like down the road, maybe next year or something, when like just to try it out, but not for like $60-$70. Like just not my kind of game. I tried it. Have tried these games, so it's not like I've not tried them, but it just doesn't click with me. That's the game I'm gonna feel the most FOMO. I think I'm gonna see everybody on like Blue Sky or Twitter playing it. I'm just not gonna be playing it. All right, Split Fiction, which comes out in March. So now we're in March. So Split Fiction comes out on March 6th, which is from Hazelight. It's their next game. Obviously, they made It Takes Two, and It Takes Two won Game of the Year. So this is their next game. It's a co-op game. You play with your friends or family. You buy one copy. Any of your friends can play it. They get a friend pass. It's a unique game, obviously, because they can do anything they want with it. Because it's like two friends that have like going like a virtual world, so you can do any genre, anything you want. It Takes Two did that too, basically. This game is a day one for me. This is probably gonna be my top 10 games. It Takes Two was that good of a game. And this game just looks just good. Just make sure you have a friend to play it with, because if you don't, you can't play it. Obviously, that's the only downside of these games, I suppose. Is that sometimes people just still can't play that. But I do hope it's a little more accessible for like non-gamers because It Takes Two was quite difficult at times. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine if a non-gamer playing that game because like there was some frustrating moments, but it was
Kim
still
Kim was
very
struggling.
yeah. It was hard for some like
And she's not even a non-gamer. Like she does casually game from time to time, but mostly in
yeah.
other genres.
No, but it was like I'm saying it was hard for like a hardcore gamer. Like it had some moments.
Yeah,
It was frustrating,
yeah,
but I'm hyped for this game. This is day one.
yeah. I'm hyped for this game as well. It's probably day one for me. This could be my goatee. I don't know. Uh, It Takes Two had some of my favorite moments in gaming. I still think that fidget spinner is one of the best gimmicks ever in a video game, and I will always talk like give me any excuse to talk about those 10 seconds or 1 minute in a video game that I had that I was like fucking magical. It's a terrific game. I had some problems, mostly writing issues, especially with that book. But overall, I thought it was really good, and I'm very excited for Split Fiction. I've somehow convinced Kim to not divorce me and instead play this game with me. So I'm hoping she'll stick to that, and I'll play with her in March. Seb, are you playing with your dad or something?
No, I'll play it with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Boom.
I could play it with him too, I suppose. But
Yeah, I didn't know what. Yeah, I didn't know who you were gonna play with. So
yeah, I'll play with my friends. All right. We can play it together too if you have time. Like I don't mind replaying these kind
yeah,
of
if,
games.
if Kim bails on me, I might look to you as my last hope because I don't really know anyone else who I would play with. So
Yeah. It really depends who wants to play it because the problem with this only problem I would have with this game is that like I'll get it, but does anyone else I know want to get it at this time or like I know he's a friend pass, but are they willing to play it? Anyway, next game is Atomfall. Atomfall is like Fallout basically. It's like a radioactive England. It's like a what if history if like a nuclear incident happened in England and like there's radioactive monsters and things like that. It's like a survival game. Uh it looks really cool. It's inspired by Fallout New Vegas and it's called a survival game, but it's not like a survival game like when you think of like getting resources and like wood and cutting down trees and things. It's more like you gotta monitor your health and your heart rate. It seems more like a Fallout game, or maybe like Dying Light, like with zombies. But you can fight or stealth. It looks really cool. It really interests me. I keep hearing good things about it. This I don't know if this is day one for me, but this is definitely on my radar. That's something I'll play later on. So this is a wait for a sale or maybe day one, depending on how it does. But it definitely interests me. The whole concept of it is really cool. It's giving me like Stalker vibes or Fallout. So
yeah,
any interest?
yeah. It's not really for me. I'm not really into survival games. I do love that it's inspired by New Vegas. I only played New Vegas for the first time last year. I absolutely loved it. It's still the only Fallout game I've ever played, but I do have three and
Well, I
four,
mean,
so I'll get around to it at some point.
what I mean is like it's called a survival game, but I think it's more like an open world RPG kind of
Mhm.
thing, like Fallout.
Well, okay,
I think that's what it's supposed
shit.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of this game, but I haven't seen many trailers, so I just don't know a lot about it. But if it's inspired by New Vegas, that's certainly a good sign for me. I'll
Yeah.
pay attention to reviews and what people say about it and how it plays. Could be a good game. It's another game with a great name. So yeah, I'll say I'll tentatively give it a look see and see how it's doing reviews wise.
Yeah. All right. So that comes out March 27th. The same day as that, the first Berserker Kazan comes out as well. Now, this game interests me. The very first reveal we saw it has a really cool anime, dark fantasy vibe. Um, it looks like a Souls game, a Souls like game. It looks like it's gonna be one of the harder games of the year, and it's an action RPG. And it comes out on everything besides Switch on the 27th, and I think it looks great. This is probably a day one for me, depending on reviews. Or it's gonna be at least a game I play later on this year, but it's gonna be a game I played this year. It wouldn't surprise me if it makes my top 10. I keep seeing all the cool gameplay and cool trailers for it. It just looks badass. It's connected to some game franchise I never played, so I really couldn't tell you. I think it's a Korean franchise, but it looks awesome. So yeah, what do you think, Dory?
Um, I've seen trailers for this. At first, I was kind of interested, but then as more gameplay went on, I don't know, it just feels kind of slow to me. Not that kind of Souls light that I personally like, I guess, or am starting to like. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's for me. I will pay attention to reviews, and if I'm wrong about how it feels to play or gameplay stuff, I'll certainly reevaluate.
Yeah, it sounds like you. It sounds like you're ready to jump into Sekiro if you like that fast Souls like combat.
I know
Um, or
you're like
Bloodborne.
I think I said something to you like if I ever played any Souls game, it would be more like Sekiro or Nine Souls or
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, and you're like, oh, those are like the harder games. I'm like, God damn it.
They are. Well, Bloodborne's on the easier. Well, we're going off topic, but yeah, Bloodborne's
Yeah, yeah, we're going off topic,
on the
but
easier side.
anyway, I think it looks cool, but I'm not sure if the first Berserker is for me. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm probably day one, but again, it's a we'll see. And then the last one was Inzoi. I think that's how you say it. Now, I don't. I'm not
I have
really.
no idea.
I'm not necessarily gonna play this game. I'm just very interested in it because it's a hyper realistic Sims. Like like if you look it up, the character models are like hyper realistic real life simulator. It's a real life simulator. It's one of the most prettiest games I've ever seen, from what I'm seeing. Like the people that love Sims, like really love the Sims. It's a huge franchise, and it is possible this is the next big like life simulator. It's from a Korean studio, South Korea, and it comes out March 28th. And I just, from what I see, it looks cool. I'm not saying I'm gonna play it. I'm just interested in what like streamers or YouTubers say about it and get into. I just want to look. I just want to see what people get into with it, and then maybe I'll get into it. I like The Sims, but I never like been a huge Sims fan. But I played it and I generally like it. So we'll see. Yeah, so this one's more of a I just want to see what people's reaction to it is. So, and the mods are going to be crazy. So God help us all.
Oh my god. Yeah, I never got into The Sims. This kind of game or genre isn't really for me. But I'm glad that we are having um uh, I'm glad that we're having alternatives to The Sims and that more people are trying to make uh games like it. But yeah, not really for me.
Yeah. All right, so next category is 2025 games that we expect to come out in 2025, but we don't know if they might get delayed or moved out of it, but they're a lot of them are most likely going to be coming out in 2025. It's almost a guarantee or close to it. For most of them anyway. So let's start with Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Obviously, Dory and I have talked about it in the past. We're both very hyped for it. It's a
Yes.
very high quality, high graphic, turn based Western RPG. It's like dark fantasy. It's been shown at the Xbox shows. I think it's coming to Game Pass day one. I'm gonna get it on Steam, of course, and it looks awesome. Like I've never seen a turn based game look like have realistic graphics before, so it stands out, and the visuals are incredible, like the environment and everything. So
Yeah,
it's very unique.
The UI is very Persona inspired. I'm making a bold prediction. This could be, I know this is the third time I've said this, so, take a shot of
Goaty.
water or whatever. This could be my goatee. I'm serious. This could be my goatee too. I'm so excited about this game. All the gameplay I see, all the trailers I see, all the hype I see. I mean, I feel it. This looks so good to me. I've done a total 180 on the turn-based genre in the past couple of years. And this really speaks to me as a game I can super get into. I love the metaphor. And this, kind of reminds me of that in some ways, of course, because that's a persona like, and this seems to be doing some similar things with that. It looks awesome, and they've got some really good voice actors from Ben Starr and some of the people from Baldur's Gate. It looks like it's going to be a phenomenal time, but we've already talked about it a lot, so
Yeah. So this is probably day one for me.
yeah.
Like most likely. All right. Next thing I wanted to shout out is next year is when no this year is when we get the Nintendo Switch 2. We don't know when. Rumor was that we're getting a reveal in January of this month, but I don't know. But is it gonna come out in the spring? Is it gonna come out in the summer? Or is it gonna come out in the fall? I'm leaning on the summertime because like obviously it doesn't hurt to put it in the summertime because if people want it, they'll get it in the fall. Of course, like they'll wait. You know what I mean? So I don't think it matters when you release it. It's gonna be popular no matter what in the wintertime. for like the holiday season. So I don't think it really matters. But I'm leaning on the spring or the summer. Um, but who knows? But the reason why I
I
mention it, go ahead, go ahead.
I was about to say I do think it's going to be summer. Just so by the time winter rolls around, they did a similar. Someone I think someone pointed this out on YouTube. I think it was IGN. I don't remember, but they they did something similar with the Switch where they had it come out in I think spring or summer.
Spring.
And by the time people had early adopters had used it and good reviews had come out, it was super popular in time for Christmas. So I think that's going to be the game plan again. Um, but yeah, I personally I'm not going to buy a Switch 2. I have no interest, but I'm very happy with my Switch. I use it very casually, and so I'm quite happy with it. But there's certainly games that appeal to me, like the next game we'll talk about when we're ready.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hyped for the Switch too. I will get it day one probably because obviously you can only play Nintendo games on their own platform unless you pirate or get an emulator or all that. But I don't do that. I'm not messing with Nintendo. Um, and I'm so spoiled by my ROG Ally and my Steam Deck. Like these handheld are just so good now. These PC handhelds and Sony's working on one now, and Microsoft's working on one. The Switch 2 can really do an awesome thing. Like Mario and Zelda, like PS4 graphics is very exciting if done right, which they normally do. Their games are very polished. The reason why I mentioned Switch 2 is because I'm expecting Metroid Prime 4 Beyond to be one of these games. I'm not saying it's gonna be a launch game, but it could be, right? It's coming, but either way, it's coming to Switch. It might be like Breath of the Wild, where it's on the Wii U and the Switch. Um, so Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, I'm very hyped for. Probably day one, most likely day one. If you don't know Metroid Prime, it's a first-person shooter, slash Metroidvania, like a 3D Metroidvania. A lot of backtracking and going through like secret locations, like a Metroid game, like a regular Metroid game. Uh, Dory's new to the series, so she only played the first one. I beat the first one as well. We both beat the remastered, but also I played 2 and 3 on the GameCube. I didn't beat them, but I did play them. I'm hoping that you don't have to play those to fully understand everything, because I'm not gonna go back and play them honestly. And I'm kind of disappointed that Nintendo never released 2 and 3 remasters prior. But either way, this game looks awesome. I thought it was a Switch 2 game because it looks so polished, but apparently it's a Switch game. So um, I'm leaning on it being both, but we'll see. Dory, this was on your list, so obviously I expect you're probably gonna get it day one, right?
I'm probably day one. I mean, hopefully it doesn't run like ass on the Switch. That's all I can really hope for. Hopefully they don't heck over the people who don't immediately go to the Switch too. But yeah, I'm day one. Otherwise,
Yeah, super hype. This game is probably gonna be my top 10 games, most likely. It's gonna be a high quality game. Every Metroid Prime game is highly rated, so it's a safe bet that this one will probably be highly rated as well. Another Switch 1 or Switch 2 game coming out is Pokemon Legends ZA. Now like Pokemon Legends Arceus was an awesome game. We talked about it in the other podcast a few years ago. It was in my top 10, or was my honorable mentions. I think it was my top. No, it was my honorable mentions. It just missed it. It had some performance issues, like massive performance issues. It was very blurry, had frame rate issues, but the gameplay was so awesome and fun to play. Like be able to play as a trainer, you can dodge Pokemon and they attack you and things like that. It was very cool. Like be able to throw the Pokeball at the Pokemon and catching them that way was really cool. No, this one takes place in Lumio City, which is like Paris basically. It's in Pokemon X and Y. I'm just curious how they're gonna pull off like a whole Pokemon game in a city environment. Like how they're gonna do that. We haven't gotten any gameplay or any like, trailers for it besides like the teaser. So I'm very curious what this game is. It might not even come out this year, but people are expecting it to come out this year. So eh, I don't buy a lot of Nintendo games anymore, but if there are some big Nintendo games, these are my two games I'm gonna buy. Is Metroid and Pokemon, and maybe Donkey Kong, but my dad's probably gonna get that one. So yeah, Dory, I don't. And you didn't play the other one, so you probably don't have any interest in this.
Yeah, no interest from me, unfortunately.
All right, so let's move on to Little Nightmares 3. Now, this is definitely a day one for me. I love Little Nightmares. I beat the first and second one many times. I will do it again on Steam. And the difference, though, this time is that it's not made by the original creators. It's made by Supermassive Games, who makes those Dark Pictures anthology games and Until Dawn. They were tasked with making this game. So I'm curious if it's going to be worse because different developers working on it. But it seems like they captured it very well. It has like co-op horror platforming. It has the big set pieces and the big monsters trying to grab you and all that. It's Little Nightmares is such a unique experience. There's really not many games like it. It's almost like its own genre in a way, and I'm super hyped for it. We don't have a release date, but it's safe bet it's coming out this year because it looks like it's ready. So, any interest, Dory?
This is a very exciting time for Little Nightmares fans. Period. No, I didn't play any of the other games, so
You
it's hard for me
should.
to get excited.
You should because
But
you should play them because they're only like a few hours long. It's not like a huge
yeah,
investment.
I might give them a shot at some point. I love horror games, obviously, and I love me a good creepy time with video games. Uh, I've never been super in love with like any of the gameplay I saw, but I didn't think it was bad either. It just I'm usually iffy about stealth-based gameplay or gameplay where you kind of die in one shot or whatever. So that always kind of warded me off. But I don't actually know how hard the games are because obviously, again, I didn't play them.
They're not hard. There's some trial and error, but like the checkpoints are very forgiving and it's really not hard at all.
Gotcha.
All right, next big, obviously the biggest game of the year is Grand Theft Auto 6 if it comes out this year. It's the thumbnail of our video. Grand Theft Auto 6 is my most anticipated game of the year. Of course, it's Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest selling was the highest selling game of all time until Minecraft, I believe. But Grand Theft Auto is a juggernaut. Rockstar is like one of the biggest studios in the world, biggest publishers in the world, and Grand Theft Auto 6 just looks massive. It's gonna be huge. The trailer was the most watched YouTube video ever, like the fastest. Like it was like the fastest growing YouTube video ever. I've watched that trailer like 5,000 times. I've never seen a game capture my hometown better than this game. Like it's very accurate of South Florida, all the wonkiness. Um, these are people I've been around my whole life. Um, I think it's just it's day one, beyond day one. It's like I would have already had it pre-ordered. But I of all the games though, I feel like this one has the strongest chance of being delayed. I just get a feel because Rockstar is notorious for delaying their games. Red Dead Redemption got rid of two got delayed a lot, and I'm expecting that for this game as well. So, Dory, you don't play GTA, so
I don't. I played GTA when I was a kid slash teenager slash shouldn't have been playing GTA. Like all of my fellow youth did at the time. I played Vice City. I played San Andreas. I think that was it. I enjoyed both games when I was younger. I have since uh, moved on psychologically from this series, and I no longer feel the need to play games like this. Is delicately how I'm going to put this. I don't really care for the way that Rockstar writes things, and its kind of obsession with having a very timely current day politics and just some of the characters that they write. I don't know. It's not really for me. I know obviously they've grown as a company since then, and in certain ways.
it's
But yeah,
the thing is they've only made two games in like 10 years, so it's like it's totally like you know what I mean. It's like they have not made a
Jesus.
they haven't made a modern game like in today's climate yet.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we'll
we'll see.
see. I mean, I don't know. It's really just not my series anymore. It's just not something that I super enjoy. I'm very picky about open world games anyway, as it is. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe this will be the one, but probably not.
Yeah, so this will be the highest selling game of the year if it comes out this year, and it'll be probably the highest selling game of the decade as well. So this is obviously a juggernaut. This is probably going to win game of the year.
I secretly hope this comes out on January 20th for no particular reason, just so it can out outsell and outsize certain other news stories that will happen that day. Just for funny.
Yeah, and I'm off that day too, right? Because it's
Yeah. There you go.
Martin Luther King Day. All right. Anyway, uh, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is personally my favorite Metal Gear Solid game.
Metal Gear.
This is day
That's
one.
right.
This is day one for me. Konami's having a comeback. Hopefully, they started off great with Silent Hill 2, and hopefully this one is just as good. Everything I'm seeing for it looks great. There's some mechanics of Metal Gear Solid 3 that's not going to age well for some people. I feel like it's very much so a PS4, a PS2 game at some parts, and it's gonna be frustrating. So but it doesn't sound like they're gonna change anything. So it's gonna be a full on. It's gonna be exact remake of what people want, and yeah, it's gonna be super hyped. This is day one.
I'm probably day one. I love this game. It's an incredible game. Obviously, upgraded graphics, maybe some upgraded features and controls and stuff like that. Yeah, it's one of the best games, and it's just going to be even better. So I don't know. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Best title of the year, right?
I just fucking hate style so much that I love it. I come back around. I hate it so much that I love it. It's
Yeah, it's
so
so
bad,
bad.
it's good.
So bad it's
I
good.
know.
Yeah. Um, this is a PS5 exclusive, I believe, and Death Stranding. I always said Death Stranding is great. I think Death Stranding is like a masterpiece in almost every way except for the gameplay. And obviously, video games are all about the gameplay. Because I did not care for the point A to point B gameplay of going like just traveling and enjoying yourself, where you listen to music and you walk for 20 minutes. That just wasn't for me. Now a lot of that game did have a lot of linear like action moments and stuff like that. So it wasn't the whole game wasn't just that, but there was times where it was like, you really gonna make me walk all this way just like I get it. It just didn't click with me like that. I still love it, but I definitely don't like love it as much as other people do. Um, hopefully this one's a little more streamlined. I don't know if I'm day one. Because I'm on a PC kick now, I guess. So it's really hard. It's gonna be really hard for me to get into PS5 exclusives now, just because I'm so into PC and I can just wait for this game to come out on PC because like Death Stranding's on PC. Um, so I don't know if I'm day one with this, but I am interested. I'll have my eye on it. So what do you think, Dory?
I didn't play the first one. I'm not going to play the second one. I do love that. I love Kojima's craziness. I love that he named people Dead Man or whatever, or Skull Man or whatever the fuck he does. I think it's great. I can't wait for out of context cutscenes with random celebrities. I'm more excited for the experience of Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Yes, I am saying the full title for maximum effect than I am for the game itself. I don't really care to be a UPS processor delivery guy. Sorry, not my jam at all. Neither are those realistic balancing. Well, realistic, but the balancing mechanics either. I don't want any of that.
No,
Um,
they can do something really funny now and do like a whole like Dead or Alive like bikinis like everybody's on the beach just like a whole like beach simulator game like the whole
that'd be
time
great.
like they just throw everybody
That'd be
off.
awesome.
It's just like
That'd be so
you
good.
play beach volleyball. Norman Reedus in the bathing suit playing beach volleyball. Like
There we go.
yeah, like the cinematography, the storytelling was just masterpiece. The music was a masterpiece. Everything was in that game was like high quality except for the gameplay. And I really hope the gameplay is better in this one. But people really love
Yeah.
it. They defend it, but not it just didn't click with me. So anyway, another PlayStation game is Ghost of Yotai. Now we don't know if it's coming out this year, but like people are leaning on yes. People think it's like almost done or close to being done, so it's possible. But this is another game where I think it's probably not coming out this year. I lean on it being delayed. If it's even, can't say it's delayed because it's never release date. But this is day one. If it does come out this year, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games. 2020, and it's amazing on PC as well. And this game is in the future. It takes place in the 1800s, I believe. So Jin is long dead. The visuals looked amazing. The colors were amazing.
I love the people on fucking Twitter being like, "Where's Jin?" And someone
It's a
quote
skeleton.
tweeted and posted a skeleton. And they were like, "Right here, buddy, right here,
Yeah.
fucking dead."
So like you imagine like there's gonna be guns and stuff, right? So it's gonna be
I guess
different
so.
different kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
This is day one. If there was a game I'll get on PS5 day one, this is it. Yeah. So
If I'm not day one on this, I'm day zero. Like
yeah.
I'm so ready for this. Is like when your favorite wrestler or one of your favorite wrestlers, whatever, goes away for a long time due to injury or just due to like taking some time off, and then comes back, and you're like, oh my god, I missed you so much. And then this is how I feel about Ghost of Yotai. I haven't. I feels like I haven't played Ghost. I played Ghost of Tsushima like millions of years ago at this
Well, it's
point.
been
So
five
I'm
years.
yeah, I'm all the way ready for a new game. I'm very excited. I'm day one. Honestly, I would. I'm probably not going to, but if I could pre-order it, I would actually consider it. But I wouldn't do it because I don't really like that whole pre-order culture. But yeah, I'm very excited for this game. It's going to be great. It's Sucker Punch.
Agreed. So yeah, this is day one. Fable. So again, another day one game for me, most likely. Fable is, but this time they're made by Playground Games. Like Fable was a dead franchise. Like if Fable was huge in the 2000s, if you grew up on the Xbox 360 like I did in the Xbox, um, it's been a long time. And Playground Games is doing the people that made Forza. I'm curious how they make this game because they've only made racing games, so they're making it like a basically open world action game or action RPG, and we have not seen a lot of gameplay for it yet. Like we've seen like snippets, like creative trailers and people talking, and we saw like a giant frog, but we have not seen like any gameplay snippets yet. Which makes me worried that it's not coming out this year. But it's got to be time, right? I mean, we've been waiting. Like, give us something. It feels like a game that's gonna come out this year. In like later in the year, if it does come out, this feels like a November kind of game. But we'll see. So this is one of those games I expect it to be delayed. It's either well, can't say again. You can't say it's delayed because there's no release date. But like, let's say we all expect it to come in 2025. I feel like it's gonna come out next year, but it's time, right? I mean, give us something though, at least. If not this year, give us like a 20-minute demo or something. Like I got to see some gameplay. It's like long overdue. So, Dory, what do you think? Hmm. After
Oh, it is me and what I think. Um, sorry, eating. I did not grow up playing any of the Fable games. I know, shame on me, shame on my whole family. Um, but I don't know. I don't really. So I don't really have a lot of expectations on like a lot of other people about how this is going to go or what it's going to be. My favorite part was the frog. No, I'm kidding. Um, I don't know. I don't really know what to think. I love the whole, your choices have consequences. I love narrative based
it was
games
like
and
the
stuff like that.
it's one of the first games to do that. Like that's why like Fable's considered like revolutionary. Is that when it's one of the
Yeah,
games that have the karma system like that. Like you can really be evil and really be good
yeah,
or
for
neutral.
sure. I mean, it hasn't super aged well because it's very, very binary,
Yeah.
um, but I mean that's okay. Obviously, it was, and they're remaking it anyway.
It's 2005. So
I'm excited for it. It's on Game Pass? Question mark.
oh, yeah. Y- This is
Yeah,
this is Xbox first party, so this is definitely
yeah, yeah.
day one on Game Pass.
So I'm probably day one just for that. Just because of that reason. I love choice based stuff. I love RPGs. I love classic fantasy. But I'm probably day one.
Yeah, I'm day one on Steam unless it's like bad reviews or something. But I would be shocked because Playground Games makes quality Forza games. But I'm just curious how making racing games how it translates to making a high quality open world
Bro, I
RPG.
can't wait for the fucking driving in Fable. It's gonna be incredible.
They should definitely have something like that
They
though.
should just out of nowhere turn the game into a racing game and just be like, oops, how'd that get there?
Yeah, it's like Death Stranding 2 on the beach. It's like a beach simulator.
That's right.
This one is a racing game the whole time. Fable Kart. All right. Another big game for Xbox this year is South of Midnight, which is from Compulsion Games, who's has a mixed track record, I suppose, because not many people like We Happy Few, but people like Contrast, which I also like Contrast. But This game looks awesome. Like I love everything about it. I love the setting, the Louisiana setting. I love the characters. I love the big monsters. I love the cell shade, like Miles Morales kind of vibe they're going for. Um, the gameplay looks fun. They actually shown gameplay for this one, like a good snippet of it, and it looked like a blast to play. This is day one for me. I'm pretty sure this. I'm pretty sure this is coming out this year. Uh, they don't have a release date yet, but this feels like a summer game. If I had to guess, maybe a spring game.
Yeah. Um, it seems like the gameplay might not be, and they've even admitted this, that not maybe not the highlight of the game, but it's going to be decent enough to get you through a great story with a great emotional core and some really interesting, unique music and a very unique setting of the kind of bayou area, swamp that video games just don't do a lot. I mean, really, the only major exception I can think of is Resident Evil 7. So
Mm.
I don't know what that tells you, but yeah, that's really the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
Louisiana setting. Mafia 3. Fallout 3 had like a DLC. We were basically in a swamp area like that. But yeah, there's not a lot of setting games in that setting. Now that I think about it. Oh, Infamous 2 or Infamous? No, Infamous 2, I think was in the Louisiana. Anyway, another big Xbox game this year. This is a huge year for Xbox. Is Doom: The Dark Ages.
Hell yeah.
This is day one, doll. Now this is the only one that's coming to PS5 as well on the same day as Xbox and PC. I'm getting it on Steam, but if you don't know what Doom is, obviously it's a first-person shooter. It quality game. Doom Eternal's one of the greatest shooters of all time. Uh, Doom is here to stay. Having Doomslayer in medieval times, you basically have just the fact that having a gun that has like a skull, like getting broken up in pieces and shooting the pieces of bone at the enemies is awesome. Very medieval, incredible, badass. Like every synonym you can think of badass is Doom, and this is day one. This is day zero. Like this is guaranteed top 10 game of the year for me. Like
Yeah,
this.
but I'm actually going back to the Middle Ages so I can officially like realistically play this game. Now you might be wondering, Dory, how are you going to be able to play this game in Middle Ages? Well, luckily it's a Doom game, so I'll be able to play it on my fucking whittling wood or some bullshit. So it'll work out great for me. But yeah, no, I I'm not as high on Doom and Doom Eternal as everyone else is, but I thought they were both great games. I had some issues with them here and there. I found Doom Eternal honestly exhausting at times.
It is exhausting.
Just it was relentless.
Played on a higher setting too. Oof.
No fucking thank you. Um, but both great games, and I'm very excited for this. This looks awesome. I know Seb just said it, but I really have to repeat what he just said. You have a gun that shoots out the bones of your enemies and splinters off into other bones to hit your enemies with their bone. It's so fucking cool. Like get the fuck out, dude. So I'm excited.
Yep, day one. Next game is Marvel 1943: The Rise of Hydra. And this is the game by Skydance New Media, which is ran by Amy Henning, who's done Uncharted. So this game's gonna be very cinematic, as we've seen already. We have not seen any gameplay yet, but we have seen trailers and dialogue and cutscenes and things like that. This game looks very high quality. This is very ultra setting level game visually. I just need to see some gameplay before I get super hyped about it. But I am definitely, as a big Marvel fan, super definitely interested. This is definitely day. This is probably day one, unless it's like gameplay looks terrible, or it's like some like narrative, you know, basic game. But even then, I'll probably buy it. Just not day one. But yeah, it takes place in World War II. It has Captain America. It has Black Panther. It doesn't have like the original, but it has like the his grandfather or something like that. Not T'Challa. Yeah, so it looks incredible from what I'm seeing. But that's just the visuals. We have not seen any gameplay. Dory, are you any interest?
I do have interest. I mean, again, fighting Nazis, something I enjoy in video games, of course, maybe real life. And it looks really good. I mean, it looks stunning, honestly. If you had told me that was a movie, I honestly might have half believed you until I saw Amy Hennig. Um, it's It looks really promising. I guess, like you said, I need some gameplay. I'm not sold on this until I see some. But am I interested? Hell yeah, I'm interested. This looks good. Captain America at his best, fighting Nazis. Black Panther. That's a good time too. I know it's not the Black Panther like we already said, but whatever. Um, it looks good. It's got a great team behind it, led by Amy Hennig, who's got an incredible pedigree within the industry. So I'm pretty confident it's going to be good, but I need gameplay.
Agreed. All right, Borderlands 4. Uh, I'm probably day one, but like because Borderlands 1 and 2 I really loved. Borderlands 3 was a good game, but I had a lot of issues with the stupid millennial writing where they think that they it felt like a 50-year-old man was writing for like 20-year-olds. Oh, look, this is what the kids are into. Look how hip we are. So if this game does the skibbity toilet and all that crap, I'm gonna cringe into oblivion. But it seems like they're going for a darker tone. Like the trailer we got at the Game Awards was very
Well, the people
serious.
on the crew said that if one skibbity toilet ends up in his game, he's going to put I forget exactly what he said, so I'm paraphrasing, but he's going to put like a nail through his head or something like that. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I think the team behind it is a little more centered than they were in Borderlands 3, but
Yeah.
obviously wait until the final product, right?
I mean, yeah, because they can't screw around with the franchise right now because the movie was such a disaster.
The
And
movie was the movie was garbage by all accounts, and the and Borderlands 3 wasn't exactly hot itself. Even if it wasn't nowhere near as bad as the movie, but still
yeah,
was definitely some contentious criticism,
and a lot of people don't like Randy, including me. So
including me. So that is why I'm going to transition into saying I have no interest in this game. I almost said something very mean spirited, but I will not say that. Basically said I hope it doesn't sell well. But that's not true because I want the team to do well. Heck, Randy, but obviously I want to support the devs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't care about Borderlands. I played two, and honestly, I'm good. Oh, and I played Tales, so I'm good. I don't really need anything else from this franchise. But I hope it's good for the people who enjoy this franchise. Pretty much what I always say
yeah,
for games that I don't have an interest in personally.
yeah, like at the very least, this I think the gameplay is gonna be very good. So if I don't get this day one, it's definitely something I'm definitely gonna get later on this year. So it's either wait for a sale or get day one, but probably day one. All right. We get some of the so the last few games we can speed through it a little more.
Sure.
The Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020. I'm a big fan of the Dark Pictures games. I own all of them. This is season 2 now. This one was going for like an alien vibe. It says it takes place in space. It was really cool.
Yeah, Nigo, the sequel to Nigo 210 goes really hard, dude.
Yeah, right. I, it's super massive at this point. You know what kind of games they make. It's gonna be very
Absolutely.
narrative based, choice based, annoying characters, cringy dialogue here and there, questionable choices, in terms of like was that cool or not? I don't know. Um, yeah, like you gotta know what you're signing up. But what I like about it is they're going for a different setting now. They instead of like teenagers getting into something, or 20-year-olds, millennials. It's more like it's like in space. So everything about it looks really cool. I'll play it anyway because I really like these kind of games. But I do know they have their a lot of their flaws. They definitely do. Until Dawn's still the best one. That was the first one. So, but I still enjoy them, especially around Halloween. Like they're great Halloween games. All right. Another game coming out is Jurassic Park Survival. We have not gotten. I don't think we've gotten anything since the reveal of it, but like the cinematic trailer was awesome. Everything they were describing it as sounds awesome. Like a first-person action stealth cinematic narrative focused game. So like a full-on cinematic Jurassic Park game sounds awesome because we never gotten that with Jurassic Park. Like having a T Rex and like raptors and things like that chase you and in like a realistic cinematic setting, like a Alien Isolation kind of thing, sounds badass. Like that really could be an awesome game. So I am actually really excited to see it. But I need to see some before I get hyped. I need to see some gameplay because we have not got any gameplay. So for all I know, this game is going to look significantly worse than what we got at the trailer because the trailer is only CGI. But what I'm hearing just sounds awesome. So on the surface, it seems awesome. Dory, you have any interest in that?
I want to mention for the Dark Pictures, I have some interest, but not a lot. But you're gonna get it, so I'll probably play it at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, no, I have no interest.
Yeah. All right. So Skate 4, I would be interested in it, but now I'm hearing it's a live service game.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is.
and it lost me
No,
on
thank
that.
you.
It lost me on that one.
Yep.
Crimson Desert seems like a fun open world fantasy game. Like it takes place in the universe, but I never played it. Um, I have my eye on it. That's all I really have to say. Like I need to see some more gameplay, but I do have my eye on it. It might be a game. It might be my honorable mention underrated list at the end of the year. Hell is Us is another game that I can see being underrated. It looks really cool. It has like a kind of reminds me of Death Stranding's like vibe, the dark setting. The gameplay looks fun. It's a Souls light. Um, I think we got it at the state of play or something like that. Something like yeah, I feel like that's right. I have my eye on it as well. I'm not saying it's gonna get a day one, but I have my eye on it. Another one is Elden Ring Night Rain. Uh, I'm kind of tired of Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring. It's my top 10, one of my top 10 games of all time. But like, I kind of need a break after Shadow of the Erdtree, and this is a multiplayer, more focused co-op kind of game. And I'm not sure if I'm really into that for Elden Ring because I like to play Elden Ring solo. I never got into the whole co-op part of Elden Ring personally. So I'm interested, but I'm not. I'm probably not day one. Or if I get it at all, maybe I just want to see what streamers get into, like what people play on YouTube or something, um, more than actually getting it. So we'll see. All right, Mafia: The Old Country. I'm very hyped for this game. I talked about Mafia earlier in this episode. I'm really excited for the setting. It takes place in the early 1900s Sicily. My family's from Sicily. I'm Sicilian myself, and it's unique because how many games you get or take place in the early 1900s in like Italy? Like it's a cool setting. Um, just by the trailer alone, I can tell that this game's gonna have high quality writing, high quality acting, high quality storytelling, which all the Mafia games have. Uh, I still need to see some. I want to see some gameplay though because we have not gotten that. It's been very cinematic focused, but I at the very least I think because if everything else is really good, like the music and the sound, the dialogue and the acting and everything, story, it's gonna be a great game, even if the gameplay is
Yeah.
flawed. So, Tori, what do you think?
I'm excited for Mafia. I'm not excited for Crimson. Hell is Us, or of course, I'm not excited for Elden Ring. I'm sorry.
That's why I didn't
But
ask
yeah,
you because I figured you end up
yeah,
thinking.
yeah. Just noting it for the audience because they might not know. I think Hell is Us looks interesting, but I didn't really care for the gameplay that I saw. So but Mafia is definitely by far the one I'm interested in the most. I love noir stuff. I love Mafia stuff. I have some books about the Mafia and read about the Mafia, and I just find it very interesting. I'm starting my own Mafia. No, I'm kidding. But I love the Penguin. But yeah, anyway. I'm super excited for this. I'm a bit of an Italian myself, Seb. So I'm excited for this. Let's go back to the old country, get some pizza pie and some
Bon,
spaghettis.
buongiorno.
Let's go. Buongiorno. So Seb and I are both very biased and very excited.
Yeah, when I speak Italian, I sound like Brad Pitt in *Inglorious Bastards*. And I took Italian for 2 years. All right, so yeah, this is day one for me most likely. Even if the gameplay is not the best. The Outer Worlds 2. Now, I know Dory and I are both day one on this. Of course, Outer Worlds 2, another Obsidian game. We already. What else can we talk about? We already
Right.
praised the hell out of Obsidian, but um, no, this is a game I feel like it's not going to come out this year because it just feels weird to have two Western RPGs from Obsidian come out in the same year. Doesn't it feel like they're cannibalizing their own like game?
Yeah.
But I guess it could spread out because it's gonna come out like late in the year. But still, doesn't it feel like something like that'll come out like early next year instead?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I hope you're wrong, but
Yeah,
I can totally see it.
yeah. I hope I'm wrong too because I don't mind. But
Yeah.
this is day one. Well, what can I say? It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds is awesome.
I'm excited. I already liked the Outer Worlds, and then I replayed it, like I said, and I loved it even more. So yeah, I'm all the way day one. Game Pass, baby. I'm there.
Now the next game is Solasta 2. I'm only interested in this because it's a Dragon Dungeon and Dragons 5th edition kind of game. It's a CRPG like Baldur's Gate. So like if it I usually don't like CRPGs. You like CRPGs more than I do.
Right.
But Baldur's Gate's like a huge exception because like it's like my top 10 game of all time now. So I'm just curious, like this kind of game, like is Celeste 2 on this kind of game, like for me as well? Is it just gonna surprise me, and is this something I can get into? Like I love fantasy, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll keep my eye on
I'm
it.
gonna add it to my wish list. I'm excited and intrigued. We will see what happens. I will pay attention to reviews
Yeah,
and gameplay clips, and we'll see if it's for me.
yeah. This feels like more like a U game to me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, and then two more games for this category. Dying Light: The Beast. This is supposed to be DLC, but now they made it a full on game. It's supposed to be like at least 20 to 30 hours, which is awesome. Dying Light 2 was a good game, but I don't think it was good. People like the first game better. But when I'm seeing the game, they actually show gameplay, and the gameplay looks like a blast. Like the parkour looks incredible. It's a fun zombie game. Obviously, if you don't know what Dying Light is, zombies chase you at night. You know what I mean? So like,
Yep.
hence like chase you at night. It looks like a fun parkour game, fun action game. It looks awesome. It was one of the best reveals of the Game Awards. Any interest?
No, not for me personally. I would have to get into the series first to really play it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's certainly a thing that's coming out. I guess is all I really have to say. I don't have strong feelings on this franchise, really.
They're worth a playthrough. I have them on Steam if you ever want to try them. They're not long games.
Yeah.
They're not like the 40-hour games or anything. Probably like 15, 20 hours if you just streamline it. And then the last one in this category, I put 33 Immortals. I'm not. This is the only reason I put this is because I remember it from the Xbox show, where it's like you had like 40 people on screen. Like those an indie game, where like do you remember this game?
Yes, I do remember this game.
So I figured you might have interest in it. I'm not sure.
I have some interest in it. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or not, but I do think it looks fun. But I'm not sure how much I would actually play it like in reality.
Yeah. I was gonna put Slay the Spire too, but I didn't put that because I don't play roguelike games, so
Right.
I didn't want to
And I
include
wouldn't
it.
have any interest either. So
Yeah. All right, so the last category, this one's not gonna be as long because this is the category where I feel like we have just no idea when it's coming out, if it's coming out this year. And I think most of these are strongly unlikely that are coming out this year. Like feels like a reach. Some of them I can see it, but most of them no. First one is Phantom Blade Zero. We're both hyped for this game. I think that looks awesome,
yep.
but it could come out this year. But I'm leaning on next year. But there's a demo already, right? People have played it, so maybe, right? So this
Yeah,
one
maybe.
of all the games in this category, besides another one, I think this has the most biggest chance of coming out this year. So we'll see. But yeah, it looks awesome. Dory, you have anything to add to it, or
I mean, I just that I've seen the YouTube videos. It looks fucking cool as hell. It looks
yeah,
very stylish. It looks accessible. Yes, it has some Souls vibes, but it also has some hack and slash action adventure vibes, um, similar to Stellar Blade.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm there.
I
I'm very game for this. Very excited.
I watched some people's like impressions of it, of the demo they played, and it sounded like it was easy, not easier, but like it felt like it was more accessible. Like it wasn't like it was manageable for a non Souls player. So we'll see. But maybe I'm misremembering. All right, another one was Reanimal, which ironically is made by the people that made Little Nightmares, and this is basically like another style of Little Nightmares. So the people in charge gave Supermassive Little Nightmares 3, and they gave the original Little Nightmares team to Reanimal. So this is like a Little Nightmares game, but it's not Little Nightmares.
This
So
feels like um when like the original studio that had uh the Arkham games got the Batman Gotham Knights game, and then the studio that didn't originally have Arkham got the next Arkham or whatever.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like one
yeah.
of the games was canon and the other game wasn't. You remember what I mean?
Rocksteady were the people that made the Arkham games.
Right, right, and their game,
But then they did Suicide
what
Squad, and then
they
Gotham
did
Knights.
Suicide Squad,
What
and that was canon, but then the ones that wasn't, or whatever. I don't fucking
something like I
remember.
know
You know
it's
what I'm talking about, though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just weird because this is a spiritual successor to Little Nightmares, even though Little Nightmares is still around. So it's like,
yeah. Little Nightmares is doing fine. Last I checked, so I don't
yeah.
know what the fuck.
But this game looks awesome. Like obviously we haven't really seen any gameplay or anything, but just the vibe that we got from the teaser looked awesome. So I definitely very interested in this game. I don't expect it to come out this year. With Little Nightmares 3 coming out this year, I feel like they're still being worked on. I feel like it's a 2026 game. Judas, of all the games on this list, I feel like Judas has the highest chance of coming out this year. But I wouldn't shock me if it comes out next year. If you don't know what Judas is, it's Ken Levine's next game. It's the spiritual successor to BioShock. A lot of people are hyped for it, including me and Dory. It should be a great game. Like, everything I've seen from it looks awesome, but like obviously we haven't seen a lot yet. We have not seen gameplay really, if at all, for it. We've gotten like cinematic trailers. Dory,
Right. Yeah,
how do you
I'm
feel?
interested for sure. I think it looks great. I love Bioshock. I wasn't as into System Shock, but that also partly was on my laptop at the time. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, Ken Levine doesn't sink this company too.
All right, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. Everybody put on your clown makeup.
All right, everybody, get your clown makeup ready.
It ain't coming
Hey,
out.
and while we're talking about clown makeup, can I talk about Kingdom Hearts 4, which is definitely not coming out this year,
Yeah,
and
speaking
is
of clown makeup,
pro- well, speaking of clown makeup, I'm putting on that extra shit. I'm putting the clown plus. But yeah, I really want it to come out this year. Will it?
premium
Probably not.
clown makeup,
Premium,
premium edition,
premium clown makeup,
collector's edition, $200 clown makeup.
digital deluxe edition.
Kingdom Hearts 4 is not coming out this year, but I do hope that we at least get a trailer or something, right? Like this feels like the
Yeah,
year to get like at least something. But Kingdom Hearts 4, God, this year marks because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in
I think
29.
it's been 5 years since they showed that trailer. I think.
Is it
We're
five
getting into
years?
meme territory, and I'm not happy about it because people are going to start
No,
being like, "Oh, it's just like this for all the Kingdom Hearts
it can't
games."
be
I'm like,
5
"That's
years,
literally
right? Maybe like three. It's gotta be like 3 or 4 years, right?
I don't know. Maybe. Oh, no, what it has been? It's been 1,000 days. That's what it's been. It's been 1,000 days since
but
they
it
showed that trailer.
but it has been 6 years since Kingdom Hearts 3. So
Sure. Yeah. Although they did have
mm,
Melody of Memories and they did have the DLC,
no, but like
and
a mainline Kingdom Hearts game, it's
but
been
yeah, I mean,
6 years.
thing's been like 6 years. Fuck me.
Oh my god, being a Kingdom Hearts fan is really tough because
It's fucking suffering, dude. And then once it comes out, everybody shits on the game or it sucks.
and then they love it
And
like a year later. Like
that's right. Or you get dunked on for loving it. It's fucking hell. But whatever. I put up with that anyway.
yeah, we still love it anyway. I have a Kingdom Hearts rug
Yeah,
behind me. All right,
that's right.
all right. The Witcher 4. I've seen it on people's top 2025 lists. And I'm like, why? Do we really expect Witcher 4 to come out this year? Like, I don't. There's no way.
I at best like winter season, but even then, I'm with you. I kind of doubt it. They
Yeah.
showed a tease trailer. Like the
Yeah.
best you can hope for is a gameplay trailer sometime in the middle of the year.
Yeah, if they pulled like a God of War 2016 or 2018 when they revealed it at the E3 2016, they gave us like freaking 20-minute opening and all that, then yeah, I could
Yeah,
feel like that. But this was a CGI teaser. Like there's no way.
yeah.
No. 2020. I could see it coming out next year. Maybe it's farther into development, but not this year. I just don't see it. But we'll see, I
Yeah, I
guess.
agree.
Marvel's Blade.
Oh,
That game is
that was
not
my
coming.
laugh.
That's not coming out.
Oh,
That's not coming out this year. I'm sorry. It's not.
it's not coming out this year. You know what else isn't coming out that year? That fucking movie. How fucking hard is it to make a goddamn Blade movie, Marvel? You fucking idiots!
Even a Blade
Jesus
game.
Christ!
Even a Blade game writes itself. Like you just make an action
It
game.
just all of it writes itself. It just look cool and kill vampires,
That's all you
and
have
you
to do.
dodge taxes.
Just do
That's
it.
all you have to do.
Remember like Evil West? Just do something like that. Just with Blade.
Good lord!
Yeah. I don't have. It doesn't have to be a
I
masterpiece.
had to
Just
get
have
that off
fun.
my chest. I've
Yeah.
seen that take so many times on Twitter. I just had to fucking get it off my chest that it's ridiculous that the games are coming out, the movie's not coming out. Marvel has no idea how to use this property. I mean, goddamn, they were able to do it in the '90s Spider-Man show with working with all this fucking sensors, and they still made him look awesome. How fucking talentless do you have to be?
And also,
Goddamn,
and
and it's not
also,
obvious.
yeah.
Sorry, it's not on Marshall Ali. Obviously, it's more on Marvel. But yeah, just Jesus.
And also, Arcane's last vampire game wasn't very good, so I don't.
Yeah, that's true too.
But I'm actually excited. I'm actually really interested in it. But 2025, hell to the no. 2027, I feel like honestly.
Yeah.
The Wolf Among Us too. Like it could easily come out this year, but like because they've been working on this game forever. But like, can we get something? Like, what are we doing, Telltale? Like, I know it's like the ashes of Telltale and different people, but like, can we get something on this game? Like, it's almost hard to get excited for it anymore because it's like it's been so long since the first one. It's like you're making a narrative, linear, 5 episode kind of game. You're not making fucking The Witcher 5. Like, why are we taking 7 years or whatever the hell it's been to make a new Wolf Among Us? So that's what I want to know. Like, what is taking so long? What are they doing that's so ambitious that we got nothing for years? But I do think it has a chance coming out. Control 2. Uh, could it come out this year? I guess it could. Do I think it's coming out this year? No. I think next year. Um, maybe we get. I think at the most this year we get like a trailer, or like a reveal. I think at like Summer Game Fest or something, we'll get a reveal for it. Cause like I feel like all the Alan Wake stuff got revealed at the Summer Game, like Killy shows. So it feels like he has a good relationship with Remedy. That I feel like it would be there. But what do you think, Dory?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Control a lot.
Yeah.
I hope we see something this year. Will we see Control 2 itself? I don't know. This is another one of those where I'm like, if we get it, it's late in the year, if we're lucky.
Yeah. But I'm excited for it. I love Control. It has some issues with like the map and you can easy get lost and
Yes.
things like that. So hopefully they fix that. But other than that, the gameplay was great. I'm gonna replay it
Yeah.
again because apparently on Steam Deck it's like verified, so it's like runs extremely well on Steam Deck. So I will play that game again. Um, Wolverine. Now Wolverine, I do not think it's coming out this year at all. I think next year. I feel like next year is when it is the right time. Unless we get like a whole like reveal, a huge giant reveal and everything, and it's like all polished and ready to go, then maybe, right? Like maybe get a state of play in March, and then like it comes out in November because they've done that before, so it's not like unheard of. But I just don't see it. But maybe because like the leaks that we saw of of Wolverine, it looked pretty like you saw the gameplay on the leak, so it's like
All right.
it looks like Spider-Man, like in terms of the gameplay. Um, but who knows, right? They're wizards, so
Yeah.
I don't doubt Insomniac. They're carrying Sony on their back the last like this generation. I don't. I just don't. I don't see it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know that I see it either. It's no secret that they've been having some issues given their the leaks that you just mentioned definitely mess with them quite a bit. But at the same time, like you said, they're fucking wizards. So something could happen, but I don't know. It just seems kind of it seems unlikely at this point. I don't know of anything else Insomniac has that's even coming out this year, so it wouldn't be conflicting with anything, but they could
Mm.
also be putting all of their time and effort into it. So I really don't know.
Yeah, it's the next game, right? So they're putting all their effort into it. I would assume, right? Because the PC port of Spider-Man 2 doesn't require like a giant team. Usually, companies have like a small team that works on ports and remasters. So I'm sure they're all hands on deck for Wolverine. So if not this year, I feel like next year is probably is strongly likely. I think at the very least this year we'll get a trailer. Like I feel like we'll get a full trailer and gameplay
Yeah,
from a
I
state
think
of
that's likely as well.
play. All right, and then finally, I know this has been a long episode, but like obviously we talked about a lot of games, and it's the first episode of the year. The last game was Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. horrible title. Um,
Horrible title.
well, at least the subtitle part is terrible.
Subtitles, yeah, is bad. If
I
it was
w-
just intergalactic,
it's fine. Yeah.
yeah, it's just fine. But the Heretic Prophet sounds so lame. But yeah, I'm with you. Doubt this comes out this year.
Yeah, this is
Um,
this is negative chance of coming out this year. Like it's not.
yeah,
They just revealed it. This game is
yeah.
far away from develop. Like it's
I
20
would be surprised if we saw it 2027, maybe.
2026 at the very least, but I would
Yeah,
lean 27.
I would as well. Yep,
Well, they've been working on this game for a long time, so let's say 2026. That like at the very,
sure. That is true. I forgot about that.
and then you have like Last of Us Part 3 being worked on too. So Naughty Dog's huge
Well,
though.
Seb, I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course, they're completely done with the series after the big bummer ending of part two.
God, I hope not, but
Jesus Christ, imagine.
it's all but confirmed though. But
Yeah, it
so
is.
I guess it strongly depends on what they prioritize. But Naughty Dog's so huge that like they can divide different teams. But
Right. They both Square Enix.
I'm gonna guess though that Last of Us Part 3 would come out first, unless this game is very close to being like, unless this game is like very far into development or something. I don't know. I could just be bullshitting. Aren't they also working on a fantasy game as well?
Allegedly, right? Yeah.
So they're working on Last of Us, a sci-fi game and a fantasy game. All right, well, and apparently they have time to do a million remakes and remasters and ports too. So, all right, so that is everything. Now, as going by this, how long this episode's been. Not that it's been 3 hours or anything, but it's a loaded year. This is gonna be a great year. We have a lot of games to look forward to. It doesn't have to be said that every game in the unknown category I'm gonna get day one if they came out this year. Like literally every game in that category I would get day one. Um, I feel like a good 60 to 70% of these games I lean on day one, or at least like I have a very strong interest in them. Like I this is a year I'm gonna be spending a lot of money and playing a lot of games. Now that's not unusual for me, I suppose, but like I guess yeah, that's just typical me anyway. But I feel like last year was like wasn't on this level. I feel like last year was a backlogged year.
I had 3 different games that I said this could be my goatee right off the back, and that's not even knowing everything that comes out this
Mhm.
year or experiencing everything. So yeah, it's gonna be a bonkers year.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for a lot of these games. February is gonna just absolutely like for me, Citizen Sleeper is like the entree meal. Like it's the it's the opener or starter or whatever. Appetizer to launch into February and how crazy that's going to be. I mean, the Lost in Bloom one, um, the Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, not Range, Avowed, and Like a Dragon, all in the same fucking month,
and
and
Monster Hunter.
then Split. Well, yeah, but not for me. But yes, and then Split Fiction is not far off from that. So it's just like Jesus. February, March is going to be absolutely insane.
In fact, a week later. Um,
Yeah,
I guarantee you 5 of these games are gonna come out in October. So you better save your money now. You know how the people are. They love putting everything in
yeah.
October. I guarantee you 5 of these games will be in October. Like don't be surprised if Ghost of Yotai comes out in the same month as Doom and like and like
That's poor
Pokemon or
wallet.
something. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So we'll take it one month at a time. But yeah, that's our show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Next week we'll get back into like typical style of episodes where we talk about the news and what we've been playing, and that's
Right.
it. Yep.
I'll be talking about Deus Ex, the original from 20 years ago, and I'll be comparing it to Mankind, Human Revolution. Not Mankind Divided. That's the one after that. So those are the 2 games I'll be talking about next week. Maybe I'll say something about Mankind Divided, but I kind of doubt it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying. I've enjoyed Deus Ex, and I'm enjoying Human Revolution right now. So I'll be talking about both those games. I actually started playing them because H Bomber guy, big YouTuber, made this 3.5 hour video about why Human Revolution is just fine and that's okay. And I was like, I kind of want to see if that's true. So I just decided to play Deus Ex and then Human Revolution, and then I'll talk about it more in the next episode. But I have a lot of disagreements with his criticisms of the game. But but yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. I'm excited for this year. I think honestly, my most hyped game is Claire Obscura. I'm just like really excited about that. The people behind it seem to have their head on solid ground in terms of like the games that inspire them. I've already mentioned one of the leads in the studio was inspired by Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, that's always a good sign for me. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a great year gaming.
Absolutely. All right, and then if it's a time of the year where everything gets kind of dry for news and stuff, we'll come up with some creative topics in the future. So because
We'll have like a one of Seb's trophies on a pole match like they did in WCW. We'll put some stuff on poles and we'll see what happens. And Seb will be really upset, but it'll make for good content.
yeah,
So
we'll live stream a TLC match and put the belt. We'll do a tables, ladders, and chairs match.
that's right. Tables, ladders, and chairs match. That's right.
Yeah.
So
All right.
all right.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. Happy New
Bye,
Year.
everybody. Happy New Year.
Bye.